And we are back, and I'm here to just give another shout out to the Melissa Lambert second annual scholarship tournament. I will be there. Flights are booked. Let's get after it. It's March 15th and 16th in Pampa, Texas. I'll be flying into Amarillo. Right? Gonna have a good time. I'm looking very much forward to it. I will be there early on Friday, so I will be making the delightful Switcholio they have starting at 7 p.m. without a doubt. I'm there early enough, Sean, that I might go golf.
A little jealous.
Yeah, I'm landing at like 9, so if anyone is listening to this and is going to that tournament and is also a golfer and feels like golfing Friday, reach out. Then Saturday, the big old doubles tournament with the huge old payouts. Why don't you come on out? Starts at 10 a.m., 35 hundo to the Open champion. Let's go. And this lovely tournament is sponsored by one of our favorite sponsors as well. The Draggin Bags. The Draggin Bags. We're allowed to say that because we're from Ohio, and we know how douchey it sounds because we love it. So head over to Draggin Bags and get some of the greatest bags on the market. We're watching them pop up in their fan base right now on the Battle of the Bags, and they're doing just fine. So why don't you go see what all the hype's about over at dragginbags.com. Drop code BIGASP12 at checkout to save yourself some money.
Cornhole it. Big ass cornhole. We hope you throw it straight. And nothing but four-baggers from here on out.
All right, welcome back to yet another episode of the Big Ass Cornhole Podcast. Sean and Dane are here as always. What's going on?
Hey, I was a little long-winded. I'm out of practice.
I know, man. Like things. It's been a minute. Like so, yeah. This has been like it might be the longest stretch we've gone without recording.
Well, we pre-recorded for everyone's enjoyment. Had a nice long 8-day vacation in Florida, and saw some family, hung out. Got my nerddom on at Harry Potter. It was a delightful trip. And you yourself went to Boston in February.
Yeah, so we'll get to all that.
Yeah,
there's so much random stuff to get to this episode, so I apologize ahead of time for us bouncing around.
Yeah, why not?
It's just how it happens. But before we get to anything else, Dane, do what you do best every single episode. Let the folks know what we're drinking tonight and our favorite segment called What You Drinking.
What you drinking?
Well, I was just strolling through the marketplace and happened to come across another brand new Voodoo Ranger Delight. This one is the Voodoo Ranger Haze Glare IPA.
Right up our alley.
It is very, very delicious. I'm trying to find the percentage here. 7.7. So
Doesn't
can't go wrong there. It's a sweet can. One of my favorite designs they've ever come out with. So yeah, Voodoo Ranger knocks another one out of the park. And as always, I got to wake up and head into work tomorrow. And my first thing I do when I walk in to my cubicle, get me some Cornhole coffee.
Grab your beans.
Get your beans on, baby. Go over to Cornhole Coffee and support the game the way the game supports you. All right?
That was beautiful.
I know. That was poetic, right?
It really was.
But Cornhole Coffee will get you the little pick-me-up that you need. I'm blanking on the flavor of the month.
It was mint.
Mint. That's correct. Almost finitoed with that.
Yeah, almost.
And then look forward to
But it's a long February.
The next one up. It is a long February. I got an extra day in there. So head over to cornholecoffee.com, drop code BIGASP at checkout, and get yourself some beans today. Remember, drink, focus, throw.
All right, well, Cornhole family, we have plenty of audio gold planned for you all today. We have a few updates for Best of the Bags. We have some random topics we're going to talk about. We have the open results that we're going to recap from Canada and Arizona. We have dramatic readings, obviously. Bag reviews. Up today is 21 problems. We have 2 series of bags. Very impressed.
Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, we'll talk about them.
And then we're going to be joined by the newest member of the ACL podcast around the ACL, Mr. Jake Brannon. He's kind of been one of the new voices on live streams and stuff. So excited to have Jake. So it should be a fun episode. But before we get into anything else, we're going to let you know what's going on in our Cornhole lives in a segment we call In and Around the Hole.
Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
Just stop throwing ugly bags. I don't know how many times I have to tell you. Just stop it. You're going to feel better about yourself if you're throwing what you like in your hand.
Tell him one more time.
Stop throwing ugly bags.
There you
Go
go.
to blackjackcornhole.com. It's going to save you the trouble. It's going to make you play better. You get free shipping, amazing customer service. Again, it's a no-brainer. Go to blackjackcornhole.com. Use code BIGASP, and you're going to even save yourself 10%.
And they don't call him Tickling Troy Hauser for nothing.
They certainly
All right?
don't. They certainly don't. Apparently, he still listens, but he just doesn't like us
It's all right.
anymore. It's all right, man.
We're
He
we're hard
matured.
to.
I guess he matured.
Maybe he's
something like
beyond
that.
us now.
Yeah,
which is
correct.
Understandable.
There's a reason people don't stick around. But speaking of friends, real friends, Black Sheep Baggers. All right, LD, we got some. I don't want to. Maybe it's a secret time, but we have some bags on the way. Some prototypes. We're testing out for Black Sheep Baggers. Some of the new releases that they're coming out with. Be on the lookout. If you look at Herringbone fan, right? Try the Sentenced. All right, it's got a Black Sheep Baggers twist is how I put it. All right, it's a little fuller. They tend to go a little bit smaller template. What I like, it really feels nice in your hand. If you're a big fan of the hybrid game, got to check out Costello X. All right, they have something for everyone. Go to blacksheepbaggers.com, use code BIGASP, and you're going to be happy because you're going to save yourself some money. All right.
Well
So
said.
it has been, it's been like 2 weeks since we sat
It's
down here and
been
recorded.
1 week since you looked at me. Sorry.
Some things don't change.
Yeah. They
So
never
how was
will,
your
Sean.
trip? I haven't really talked to you.
Yeah, it was a blast. Had a very relaxing time in Playa Largo, which is a nice place in Key Largo. Nice little resort. Had our own little villa. It was very nice balcony, and nice relaxing time. Hung out with like my wife's side of the family and their kids and stuff, and it was pretty low key, like
Sweet.
uneventful, which is what you're looking for in that type of vacation. Then we headed to Miami for the evening. Hit this like really cool. It was like an arts and music festival,
Oh, cool.
like outdoors, out in like Grove City.
Is
I
that the
believe.
Sobe? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, that just happened this past weekend.
Oh,
I
okay,
got out of
okay.
Dodge before that was
Okay.
going on. But yeah, so hit Miami up, hit up that art show and stuff. Miami's sweet. Honestly, wasn't as expensive as I had heard.
Okay.
So that was pleasantly surprised.
Bonus.
And yeah, closed it out in Orlando. Saw some family out there and met up with Harry Potter again. Had a good time.
Nice.
Can't complain. And then you had your ventures over in Bostonia.
I went out to Boston for the American Physical Therapy Association, what they call a combined section meeting.
And that just sounds like a load of fun.
Yeah, so I went out there, humble brag. My wife was presenting, so she was involved in some research at the Cleveland Clinic, so she had to go there present. I wish she would have presented Thursday because I feel like it was just kind of like looming.
Yeah.
And she didn't present till like the last day on Saturday. But it's fun. I mean, it was good. I mean, it's a work trip kind of thing, but I did get to hang out with, if you're an OG fan of the show, all right, a former Dogcast member, all right, or I guess the Dogcast member, Mr. Brendan Ahern, did run into him, hung out with him and some of his college buddies on Thursday, and it was about as fun as you would expect.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so I think I told you I got in a little scuffle, well, not even a scuffle, like a little argument with an Uber driver.
Yes. Can you play the like, am I the asshole?
Yeah. Okay. So
Scene
here's
right
the
now?
situation. So it's probably, I don't know, like 11:30. It's close. It's time for me to go home. Right. Like I've been out for a good 4 or 5 hours with Brennan and the boys, like feeling pretty good. Requesting Uber. I'm like maybe 2.5 miles from my hotel. Requesting Uber. 2-3 minutes later, my phone is alerting me, like saying like, hey, your car's pulling up. Sweet. So I see the same make and model of the car, get in, open the back door, go to get in. The guy's on his phone speaking a different language. I get in, no problem, take off. No problem with my app. I'm sitting there in the back seat. We get to maybe like 2 blocks away from my hotel, and I could see the hotel in the distance, and my phone went off, and I thought it might have been Val calling me, but it was the Uber app alerting me that they were trying to find me another driver. And I'm like, that's weird. So I show the driver. I'm like, hey, what's up with the app? And he's like, what did you do? I'm like, I didn't do shit, man. I've been sitting back here. So he's like, where are you going? I'm like, just going to the DoubleTree, man. So he pulls up to the DoubleTree, and I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know really what happened. Like, and he's like, you need to pay me. And I'm like, fuck you. I don't need to pay. I'm like, he's like, are you Michael? I'm like, no, not Michael. I'm Sean. He's like, you said you were Michael when you got in the car. I'm like, no, don't do this. I'm like, please don't do this. I'm like, you were on the phone. It was a mistake both ways. I told the guy, I'm like, I don't have any cash on me. I'll tip you. I get it. You know what I mean? I'll save your trouble. So, but I had no cash on me. The ATM was inside the hotel lobby. English was clearly not this guy's first language. So I tell him, stop being an asshole. Give me 5 minutes. Let me go to the ATM. Come back.
Apparently, sounds like a lot of privilege coming from you right now, Sean.
Apparently, he did not believe that I was going to come back. And he basically chased after me into the hotel lobby, motherfucking me up and down. And I'm like taking it for a while. And then I turn around. I'm like, dude, you need to calm the fuck down. I told you this situation, I'm going to go. So finally, hotel security had come over. So it came down to it where I'm like, I was so pissed off that the whole thing had gotten to that level. So I went to the ATM. I took out money and I was going to hand him the 20, right? But I stopped and I looked at the lady at the hotel. I'm like, can you give me change? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, can I get those in singles? So I gave him $2. That was it. So am I the asshole? I mean, I was going to give the guy, I probably would have given the guy $20, you know what I mean? Just for his troubles. But the fact that he chased me in there and started going after me like that, like, man.
Rubbed you the wrong way.
Yeah, man.
Huh?
I'm just like, I just kept thinking, I'm like, I'm just too drunk to deal with this right now. Like, I just want to go upstairs and go to bed. Like, I do not want to like have to fight this guy. Please, like, can we just like.
See, I would have just ended it real quick.
Yeah, I just didn't need it.
I would have calmly like taken out my 20, placed it on him, and went upstairs to my room.
But yeah, so and then we get home and basically like my wife has been down for the count. She was diagnosed with the flu like the day we got back. So she's been down for the count. So just been running around trying to set up best of the bags. You know what I mean? Staying on top of that is every night is a decent amount of work looking at that stuff. We went to Topgolf.
We did go to Topgolf.
Took my daughter.
Yeah.
Took my daughter, trying to get her the golfing bug a little bit.
Did she talk about it when she got home?
Oh yeah. She was stoked. Yeah. She was a little pissed that like, cause at one point I think she was up like a few points on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, it was not the case afterwards. And she's like, why am I in last place? I'm like, well, sometimes you're not at that point yet, but you'll be okay. You'll get there someday. But, yeah, had fun. Topgolf. We'll started to tease some stuff. We're going to be making an announcement sometime soon. If you're a Patreon member, you've probably already heard some of the stuff, especially if you were on the happy hour call. We kind of spilled the beans a little bit, but just keep your calendars clear in September.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that for now.
Gale affairs in the future.
It will. So best of the bags have been up and going. We
Coming
are
along,
through.
man. I'm just blown away by the sheer number of votes.
Yeah.
And misvotes.
Yeah.
Dude, it is like I was hoping that we would just have like a decent amount to read off like during the dramatic
It's
readings.
too many.
Dude, it is like we're over 1,000 now.
Oh,
it's
easy.
Just lost votes.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
I get it. Yeah, it's
at this point,
very
it's almost kind of
confusing.
funny.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. It's just if people figure it out, it's like who's the smartest fan.
The first round is always interesting because if I was looking and if I was filling out a bracket, there would not have been any upsets yet.
No, not yet.
There have been a few close matches. Cornhole scenario just eked out the Tango.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it doesn't really surprise me because I was like, they're one slow bag in that market. And listen, Cornhole scenario, I think eventually when they get down to it, they're going to price themselves out of this competition.
Oh yeah,
but they do have a very loyal following
for sure.
And if you're going through and you're looking at the numbers and just trying to see like, okay, who's doing well just based off the voting, if you got 400 plus votes in the first round, you're doing well. Like to me, that shows me, all right, you have a legit following. You could maybe make some noise in this competition.
Because when it gets more hyper focused at the later rounds, it's easier to get people to vote.
Correct.
When we're pumping out 8 of them at a time, like it's gets convoluted a little bit, but
correct.
It's still impressive how many people just scroll down it and mark.
Yeah, there have been a few disappointments like that I thought for sure maybe would have done a little bit better. One of them is Razor Bags. They have a huge, massive following on Facebook. I think I wrote it down. It's like 34,000 people or something like that. I'm sorry, 25,000 followers.
Yeah.
And they had like 140 votes.
Well, again, I mean, did they pump
no,
it out or anything?
but like you would think if they have that many followers, you know what I mean? Like you would think they have to be doing pretty well selling bags, obviously. I'm just surprised.
Or
I
it's
thought
just
there would
people
be
that have stayed followers for
I
a long
guess,
time
so
and have just fell off.
I don't know.
over time.
I was surprised with that big of a following. I thought that they would have easily gone, two, at least made it somewhat entertaining. But that was like kind of the one because I don't even think they made the bracket we left them off last year.
Last year we did, yeah.
But this year, I doing the research, going through. I'm like, they have 25,000 followers. I have to put them on. You have to. Like
Gotta
they're
try
that
it.
relevant, but they did not live up to the hype. So, fast bracket is, if you're listening this Wednesday, is done. Right, fast bracket is done. We are now on our way through the hybrid bracket, and this is these 2 days I think have potential to be big. Because if you look at Facebook traffic in general, the busiest days are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah.
So like it's Wednesday, Thursday is when the hybrid brackets are going to be going on. It's going to be pretty good.
Intense.
Yeah. So it's going to keep the same order. We're going to go slow, fast, hybrid through the first round. And then we'll do the same thing going through the second round.
Yeah.
And eventually we're going to end up with one winner in each bracket. And those three are going to go off at one time. And we'll figure that out.
Battle Royale.
In a battle royale for sure. I don't know. I mean, I know you were busy on vacation and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you happen to catch the DB cornhole? They're the ones that have been posting all the stats and everything.
I saw the one stat of of the state's highest PPR.
So that was the most recent one.
Yeah.
They had one last week that was about like PPR, like the top 100 in the country, ACL players and PPR. And then they also posted one from DPR. PPR is basically ACL Pro or Elite all the way down, right?
Yeah.
And then when you go over to DPR, it was super interesting because you see, first of all, a mix of skill levels up in there, but then you also saw an alarming, that's not the right term, a surprising amount of Canadian players high. I mean, like in the top 30 or 50, I would say they probably have 20 to 30 of those spots up there. I mean, it's a lot of Canadian players. So I kind of sat there for a minute. I'm like, why would that be? And it just must be, to me, that looks like the talent discrepancy between the best and the worst is much larger than it is here in the States.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's like when we first came into Cleveland Cornhole.
Yeah.
How there was just like, I mean, still there's a huge like swing of players, but they don't have it marginalized as much.
I just
guess,
mean,
with,
so like
divisions.
Well, that's what, even in divisions. That means, so like if you're playing in like the open, like at like a regional, right?
Yeah.
Those like the top tier players, like I think Connor Weiss is like one of the top ones. So he's playing in the open division at regionals and at all these events, and his DPR is that high. He's playing mostly, I'm assuming, against other Canadian players. So that means the players that he's playing against just are not even close. Whereas maybe here in the States, an open level player, even if you're a pro, if you're an open level player, you're going to be able to hang with them a little bit more. I think there's just a talent discrepancy there. I think the really good players in Canada are just so much better than the average player there.
Yeah, and I think part of it has to deal with like the infancy stages of the game in Canada. I mean, it's forever growing, so it is interesting though, like that. It's like that kind of hyper focused in one area.
Yeah, a little bit, and it makes me think like so.
So
obviously,
does it completely negate the argument of DPR is king?
Interesting, right?
Because a lot of pros think it's DPR, and it's like, well, it's kind of a skewed stat if you look at it. Like
DPR is, to me, is starting to be less of a thing now that the roll bag is so common.
Yeah.
It used to mean like, I mean, this is before they were really tracking a lot of these metrics, but it used to mean like if you had a good DPR, it means that you were a good block and airmail guy. And the other guy, like you probably just shot a higher percentage of an airmail, or you threw a super slick bag and you're able to kind of like dance around it more often than not. But now that everyone is throwing a roll bag now, like with high consistency, because once upon a time, people were really just bouncing bags over. They were just still really trying to figure out how to do it. But now that it's caught on, I mean, you see guys throw a first block and then they're just rolling over 3 times and they're good with a 10. I mean, it's crazy.
It is.
So I don't think DPR means as much maybe anymore, just because players have the ability to kind of go over top. I mean, you can be a Mac guy and still have a DPR of 2, if everyone just has a shitty game against you. So
for sure. I mean, I don't know. It's I feel like there's a bigger discussion to be had. I don't think we'll get into it on this, but it's like just the evolution of the game. Like we saw like stroking become the thing so fast.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden it's evolving even more to like you have to have every shot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like you're not going to be successful anymore.
But yeah, just to kind of close out the best of the bags thing, I think the one company that I'm interested to see how deep they can go and how big their following actually is.
How deep is their love?
It is Brotherhood Cornhole. Like they're kind of like I feel like the new, like they're catching fire just similar to like how the Gambler did the one year. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the Guardian is just like that hot bag. So the hybrid bracket is just so loaded though with big name companies.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how well they do, but they might be able to take it with, with one of their other bags. So like the Wingman I know did very well in the bracket. Like they're getting 400, 500 votes. So I mean, they're up there. Can they really pull it together and pull it out? I mean, it's certainly a possibility.
You never know.
All right. So why don't we jump over to the open results?
Why don't we?
All right. So let's start with the ACL Canada Open.
Okay.
So the doubles championship open division was won by Jimmy Humans and Jeff Reynolds. All right. So Team Reynolds Bags takes it down. They beat Nathan Metat and Steve DeReich. I mean, I'm not surprised. Jimmy Humans, just tends to play anywhere other than the United States and do really well. I think, I believe he said that he has the most international titles right now.
Yeah.
I don't mean, okay, this is going to sound mean.
Because you mean it to be mean.
No, I don't, though. That's what I'm saying. It's going to sound bad. Do they mean winning an international title right now? Does it mean as much as winning an ACL Open in the States?
No.
In the record book, it's the same.
Yeah.
But, like, when we take away from it, like, now listen, there are some things you can say. Jimmy Humans is able to, like, and this is not a shot at Jimmy at all, but somebody like Jimmy, you can be successful traveling overseas or over the border. And it's hard to be away from home, right? And travel that far away and still show up and perform.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a confidence thing with him, but he just tends to perform really well.
Yeah. I mean, it's, to me, it's nothing to not hang your hat on, though, because it's still cool. Like,
yeah. And the Canadian Opens, this one did seem like it was decently represented. Like there are a decent amount of like names that we would recognize going through here. So, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from it. Winning an Open is still winning an Open.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's no easy task.
Am I putting this performance up with the winners of doubles in Arizona? No, because I think the field was tougher in Arizona. So I think if we're weighting them, yeah, I think a Canadian Open would be lesser. I mean, to a pretty significant degree, I would think, especially when there's another Open going on at the same time.
Well, because I mean, again, you see the finals of this, then you see,
correct, exactly. And it's not a shot at anyone particular, but if you're just looking at the overall, especially just ACL pro pool talent,
Mesa was stacked.
Yeah, exactly.
It was stacked.
So if this was the only Open, okay, then maybe it's the weighted the same. What I mean? Even though you're primarily going to get East Coast people going to these, when you have one that's the same thing, like it's just really tough to draw, going there.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right. So, and then in singles, we had, it's really no surprise. He's probably, I guess he had the most hype in the off season and most people were fired up for him not getting a pro status is Jaden Ellis. Just continues to early on his career, just rack up wins, man. Like he's just really good. I know he didn't quite perform up to the level, as some like the junior stuff, but anyone that is in the game or has been in the know for like the last 2 years knows this kid's name. He's really super talented. And next year when he becomes, I'm sure he'll be a pro next year.
Yeah, I think that's
he's another one that will find success right away, I would imagine.
Mm-hmm. He might be that.
He takes down
out of a
Frank Verona, who again just continues to have a really nice run.
Yeah, he's been throwing some bags for sure.
He's one of those guys you almost wish the ACL National was like now.
Yeah.
Not 2 months from now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because like, yes, he's playing red hot right now, and he could continue to do that. But we all go through our slumps at some point in the year. So I think I want to see going forward now. Who's hot? Who's winning tournaments? Who's doing well at the regionals? Who are they beating? That's going to give me a good sense of who do I expect to do well at National One.
Yeah, I mean that's what we always just compile the data and put our best foot forward.
Hell yeah! All right, so there was another ACL Open this week.
That there was.
It was in Mesa. Is that where it was?
It was in Mesa. Yeah.
Okay, so it was in Arizona. Yeah, somewhere. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Anyways, it was in Arizona. So
there it is.
Yep, Mesa, Arizona. There it is. February 22nd to the 25th, 2024. And if we start with singles, this one actually stirred up quite a bit of controversy, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, at length a lot in this episode. But Alex Rawls takes down open singles, and he beats Gavin Cano, actually blanks him in the final.
Yeah.
I've said on the show several times, I think Gavin Cano, pound for pound, might be one of the most talented throwers in the league. He's got all the shots. It has to be a mental thing right now.
Yeah, he just needs to finish
and
it.
it's like to me, it's almost like if I'm just watching his body language, it's a confidence thing. When he plays, like almost in a sense like cocky or brash, like he's really good.
Yeah.
But one round or so didn't go his way in the finals, like, back checked up, or, he went to drag 2 and, kind of hopped over the hole, and you just kind of start to see the shoulder slink down. If he can just collect himself, stop the bleeding some point and regather himself, like I just want to see him battle back something.
Mm-hmm.
If you can show that you can battle back, you can take something positive out of that. Because really, this match, there's nothing crazy positive to take away. And you hate that to be a guy's last match in the championship. No one wants to see 21-0.
Well, you just take away from that Alex Rawls is back.
Yeah.
Like he's,
correct.
Doesn't seem to be in any sort of pain. He's throwing just fine. And he's got some hot feet on that dance floor.
We'll get to that. I mean, okay, so
I'm sure we'll talk about it in the interview. So
we will.
We'll
So,
leave it for that.
Alex Rawls looked very good. He is throwing a different bag now, right? So he's with AAR, and he was throwing the Ripper, so like that hybrid carpet bag. Man, you almost see, like, last year he threw the Pro Sniper quite a bit, and he can still do crazy stuff with the Pro Sniper. Obviously, the guy's won a national before, right? He's really, really good, top 5 player in the world. But you saw in this game, he has every shot now.
He throws
comfortably.
He throws that hybrid carpet like a regular carpet bag. Like,
dude,
it's disgusting. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how he gets so much movement on it.
He's going to be problems. It was nice to see him put it all together, just squash any doubt you had about him going in. He's automatically a top 5 player right now.
Yep.
If you're doing power rankings, you leave Alex Rawls off, you're wrong. You're wrong.
And I just, I was one of those that, like, I wanted to see it first.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Good, and here we go.
Tied for third place, we had Justin Burton Jr. and Levi Haddock. So Texas had a very strong showing. If you're not familiar with the name Levi Haddock, go check out the Texas Cornhole League show. They talk about him quite a bit. He has been on quite a tear going through TCL events. I believe I drafted him in singles last time. So what's up? But yeah, Levi Haddock, young dude, really catching fire, very talented thrower. Anyone that was in the know again in that area knew that it would not be surprised that Levi went that deep. Tied for second in the bracket, we had Adam Hissner, Caleb Batson, Devin Harbaugh, and Eddie Grindersleeve. When we're talking about name power, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was talking about before with Canada and how, like, these, you can really weight this differently. I mean, this is like an ACL national right here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you look at other names that you might not like be super familiar with, Logan, I don't know if it's Dupler or Duppler. Regardless, young gun, super talented.
Let's call him Dupler.
Hayden Gonzalez, an elite player. He made another run in one of the other opens. I think in one of the ones in Texas, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
He's been nasty recently. Logan Chamberlain just continues to have a good performance. He's tied third in his bracket. Hunter Thorne. Just been solid all season. I like to see Thorson. Trevor Kufis, nice to see him out about. He had a very solid under the radar season last year. When we interviewed him earlier this year, he was feeling confident that he's able to take the next step forward in a stacked field like this. You like to see it. And how about Matt Allen, fourth in his bracket? Shout out to Magnum Bags, man.
Yeah.
How about that?
Love to see it.
Hell yeah. In doubles, right? I caught maybe like 3 or 4 matches of doubles, and every one I saw, it just happened to have Hissner and Birchfield in it. They ended up winning it all over Alec Ryan and Gavin Cano. So Gavin Cano, again, second place in singles, second place in doubles. Overall solid weekend. But Hissner and Birchfield, it's crazy to me that they won because, like, they just didn't seem like they were completely 100% locked in. And to me, that is a big putting them on notice for a national one, meaning that they don't have to be at their best and they're still really that fucking good.
I mean, they're great doubles players. So
I mean, yeah, and their chemistry is kind of there. You know what I mean?
It really is, yeah.
I think Adam's going to be very patient early in the year, but Adam is not good at hiding his emotions. And I think that it's good for someone on the other end that Trey probably looks up to.
Well,
and
I think
someone's just going to hold
Adam
Trey
holds
accountable.
Him, yeah, he
Correct.
holds him to his shit. He's like, you know, you can throw better than this, so do it.
Correct. Yeah. So, I mean, they're going to be a really good team. They're that team that, like, if you were making a power ranking, and we'll get into this as we get closer to National One, are they a top 10 team right now?
I mean, right now, yeah.
You have
keep
to,
hearing
right?
their name, and I think they're throwing very well together.
I mean, this is just another doubles win for Trey Birchfield.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm looking at this list here, and I think there's actually 4 other names that I would throw on that top 10 just to start.
One of the team tied for third place you have to be impressed with, again, is Gavin Hammond and Jackson Remick. These 2 guys from Colorado just continue to show up at these big events and perform very, very well. They've done very well before on like the junior nationals and stuff like that, but they are showing that they are ready to take that next step next year, hopefully. Now, I think that they're going to be playing in the ACL college stuff, so I don't know if they're going to go the pro route or if they're going to kind of go this college, because I think that they got a college scholarship.
Which is sweet.
I think they're the first ones to get a scholarship. Well earned, though. They're both very, very talented players, so it does not surprise me at all. And then Alex Rawls wrapping up a very solid weekend, tied for third place with his pro partner, Derek Holland. They're going to be a big issue this year.
Yes.
Derek Holland, what you're going to get. You are going to get somewhere in the 10s PPR from the guy, and he can just shoot lights out in airmail. You partner that with an Alex Rawls who's red hot. I mean, they're going to be a lot of trouble this year.
That they are. Yeah, I'm excited to see how that duo plays out.
Tony Smith and Fisher Hamilton, again, second in their bracket. Jackson Gore, Sammy Soto, again, love to see it. Another rookie team combo that going to an open event, taking second in their bracket just means that they're knocking on the door. They're right there. So they're going to be just fine this year. Doug Zaft and Ty Lopez. There's been some questions about bag choice. They're throwing Reynolds this year. Mm-hmm. Seems like they're adapting just fine. It looks like they're getting to play a lot together locally, which is going to help develop the chemistry.
Yeah,
Doug Zaft has already been very successful on the big stage already. So
I feel like we're the only ones that ever bring him up.
Yeah.
Do people forget that
he's really good?
Been really good like his whole career.
And we both love his game style.
I do. Yeah, it's unique to the game still, and not many people throw a style.
AJ Sims and Braden Wilson staying somewhat close to home. Again, they're a team that I think I'm just interested to see how they do at National One. Mm-hmm. AJ Sims is about as consistent as they come. You know what you're going to get from AJ Sims. Braden Wilson, we know how talented he can be. When things start to turn up and we get to a national, is he going to be the kind of young gun that
steps up and shows out, or is he going to fold like a lawn chair?
We'll see. I think he's going to be the latter. I really do think he's going to be very good.
I think he is,
and they have full potential to be a sneaky top 10 team by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. They're that talented. Grindersleeve and Batson, they're in their bracket. You worried?
I mean, it's going to be really hard to repeat what they did, but no, they're still a top 10 team.
I don't think anyone would expect them to repeat what they did. I think this actually is probably a good sign. You know what I mean? Hey, they're in the mix. They're in the bracket. You're 1 or 2 wins away from...
Look at all the names ahead of you. Yeah, you're like probably just a couple bags away from making it to the finals.
Correct. You just want to start seeing, again, as the national gets closer, I'm sure we're going to see these two throwing a lot more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Grindersleeve, again, Eddie's at a different point in his life. He's got kids. You know what I mean? Like, he's probably not able to get out and throw as much as he would like, but he is about as, he's like a consummate pro. You know what I mean?
He's a gamer,
like
dude.
Yeah, he's just going to show up every single week and he's going to put it out. So he's just great. Other notable teams, Noah Almanza, Jacob Trzynski. They had a very nice showing. Third in the bracket. Nate Voyer and Landon Crabtree. I had not seen Landon throw a whole lot before. He has a crazy throw routine. He spins the bag, grips it, and goes right into a throw. It's super. I mean, it's rhythmic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it always makes me wonder, how is he getting the same grip every single time? You know what I mean?
That's the point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a super talented player though. He's got all the shots. Jacob Gore and Hunter Thorne, they did very solid again. They're in their bracket. So overall, again, this is a pretty freaking stacked bracket. I mean, just the whole tournament was pretty freaking stacked.
Yes, it was.
Hell yeah.
Top to bottom. Top to bottom.
All right. So let's do the bag reviews first.
Okay.
And it's not just making them smaller. They completely reshape them. They make them more supple and symmetrical.
I got to catch a glimpse of these warlocks. Let's make a move.
And this bag review is brought to you by Gnarly Boards. If you are in the market for a brand new set of pro quality boards, because your boards at home, they currently suck, or they're chipped, or your kids were sitting on them and now they just don't work and your bags aren't falling in the hole, well, guess what? You go to gnarlybags.com, they can hook you up. Custom set of boards, If you use code BIGASP, you're going to save yourself some money. So go to gnarlybags.com, grab your set of boards today. All right, so up today, we have 2 sets of bags by 21 Problems. First time we've ever had bags from them. They were kind enough to break them in for us, how I like, because then again, I want to be able to feel what the bag is going to do at its full potential.
Yeah.
I'm going to say we went to a blind draw the other night. We just stopped by, kind of get some content, talk some business, and then a few pro players were there. We brought these bags in to kind of test them out, and they were all raving about them. They're like, "Oh shit, these feel like really good."
Yeah, these feel like some of the best herringbone bags I've ever felt in my life.
All right, so you have the Evo bag in your hand.
I do.
Take it away.
I do. So Evo, like I said, herringbone with a familiar fast side. Probably so you're looking at like a 4, 8, 9-ish.
Yeah, herringbone. I mean, 4.5, 5. I mean, we all know what it is. It's herringbone carpet.
And we got the all white herringbone, which is always clean looking. It is gorgeous. Yeah, so really nice, high, tight finishing seam at the top. I like the weight of his bag. It's got a little bit of arse to it.
Yeah.
But it's really like the way he broke it in. I mean, it is really floppy and ready to rip already.
Yeah. I mean, it's mostly flat disc.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's blended, it's very minimal, but it's mostly flat disc. Yeah, smaller template in general, but it plays really nice. And again,
really
I'm not
nice.
a hybrid. I'm not a herringbone guy at all.
And we threw these up against the Elite Pro Snipers,
Yes.
which will be a review here coming soon. But these were remarkably smaller than those.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Like compared to like it was pretty impressive. They still meet the specs though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But very, very good bag. Not stamped.
Yeah.
It actually has the no stamp 2024 in the corner, which is hilarious. But all in all, dude, like great craftsmanship.
If you're a herringbone guy and you're in the market for just something new, you don't care about stamps, but you want to try out something. Listen, I'm telling you what, once these bags break in, they're among the best feeling herringbone bags I felt in my hand. And it's not just us. It was other people that were saying that and testing out the bags with us.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So, I mean, for a company that I've never seen their stuff before, super impressed for the first one.
Very impressed.
High closing seam. I mean, about average width, I'd say, what I mean, for an opening. But nice rounded corners. Just smooth. It just no kind of puckering around the edges. Sometimes when they round it, it's really nice bag, man. This is really well done. Very pleasantly surprised.
Absolutely.
So design score, I'm going 100, man. I think this is sick. The white carpet just
definitely
does it.
100. It's got like the Louis Vuitton like melty, drippy, multicolor logo on the top. Like it is very, very gorgeous. Hundo. Performance for me. Remember, I'm not a herringbone fan, but these are good when I can throw them hard enough. I'm going to give them a 74.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to keep in mind that I'm not a big herringbone fan, but I did like throwing them. Like I liked how again, it's a me thing. I just have to throw it harder.
Yeah.
When I've been throwing a bag that's consistently faster all the time, I'm expecting it to move up the board more than it does. And it just does what herringbone does. I'm still going to give it a good score. I'm going to give this an 83.
Okay.
I think it deserves that score. It performs really well.
The next bag
I do. And that's what I'm saying. This other one I liked even better.
This is going to be the one for me, surprisingly, that is going to score very well.
All right. So we have the 21 Problems. So the next one is called the Fallen.
It's got a fallen angel on it. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, so this is what you would call, so both fabric materials have been out there forever, right?
Yes.
So you have like the Widow-esque slow side paired with the Viper slick side. So it's up there. Now, if you've listened to the show before, I am a huge fan of this material when it is flipped. This side is fine though, right off the bat. Yeah. It's good. It's just a preference thing once the bag fully is broken down. This is a bag that I am super comfortable throwing. One of my favorite bags of all time, the Inferno, is basically this, what we're holding right now. And the fill and the feel, what we were just talking about from the first bag, the feel of it works really well, man. Like this I threw this very well. I like this. We both like this a lot.
Yeah, honestly,
like if we were going to a regional and we could throw this, we would throw this.
I would throw it. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I for some reason, man, the speed of it was just perfect for me.
Yeah.
Like it was like I was throwing the bag very, very well. And I love the template of it.
So speed wise, we're gonna call it like a 6.9,
Yeah, exactly.
7.9, something like that.
But I mean, I wouldn't go up to 7. I don't think it was that fast. We were on a little bit slow boards though.
Sure.
But yeah, all in all, I was a big fan. I liked throwing them.
Yeah, again, it grabs well, although it is a pretty rounded bag. It does play well, and again, it flattens out nicely,
Yes.
so it does play bigger than what it feels in your hand. Super melty.
Yes.
It gets, it gets by the hole. It's falling. It's not going to hang up on the hole. Both sides are that slick. I mean, really, with this kind of bag, this is one of those bags that you don't even really need to flip over ever. I don't think
it's pretty much ready to rip for you. But it just hit right, man. It just feels like home in my hand.
If you were a slick bag guy, you like something a little faster, right? Maybe you don't throw a perfectly flat bag. You're looking for something that's unstamped. 21 problems, falling. It's going to be right in your wheelhouse. I promise you.
Yep. And 21 problems, man. Their
Surprising.
bags ain't one.
I'm going
That's for
100%, 100 again on the design.
Dude,
I love it, man.
The print of the angel is so clean on
That's
the
what I'm
front.
saying.
Like,
That's what's so impressive to me is for a smaller bag company.
Yeah.
The level,
artwork and
the
everything.
level of printer that these guys are getting now is crazy, and I don't know if that's just overall technology getting better or people investing more to get better. I don't know what it is.
I think it's technology's gotten better.
okay. I mean, because
sure.
this is beautiful, man.
Yeah,
like this is like a work of art
Prints really, really
on both
nice.
sides.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like on the slower
But
side,
then
you
he
can
was,
print on
he
it,
was
but
smart to like not go overboard on this
Correct.
one, you know?
Yeah,
like
correct.
throwing too much
don't do the
extra
details.
color and detail. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful though.
But yeah. And then dude, I'm gonna give it an 85.
Performance. I knew. Yeah, I figured you're going up there. Yeah, I'm going to go 84. I'm going to go right below it. It's not my favorite fast bag of all time, but I would feel very comfortable throwing this. This is a bag, again, I'm telling myself going into it, don't do anything but shoot airmails and fucking pour bags in the hole.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to cut it. I'm not trying to do anything fancy. Just put bags in the hole.
You can cut it though.
You absolutely you can. I know for me.
For your internal struggle, you just say, don't try
pour
it.
bags in the hole. Just get in that
Except
rhythm, find
there's
your height.
4
and go.
bags
Yeah.
in front. I can wheel it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. You want to do the dramatic readings?
Sure.
Let's do it.
In a world where bean bags have brought men to their knees, social media serves as sanctuary for keyboard warriors. Time for the dramatic readings.
And as always, the dramatic readings are brought to you by Big D Bags. Everyone loves a set of big D's in their hands when they're a big Asp fan. So why don't you jump on that bandwagon and get your hands on some big old D's? Everyone likes the girth of them, so why don't you try them out? Go to bigdbags.com and get some today.
Addicted to cornhole. Tim Morrissey. Alex Rawls versus Gavin Cano. Counted 27 footballs by Alex Rawls. Now, at the time that I saw this, it had like 78 laughing emojis and already like 80 or 90 comments. This absolutely blew up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely blew up. It is... Okay, so Tim made a comment at some point. It's like, hey... He was like, don't make fun of me. I'm not here to make fun of you. So I went back. I saw your post, and that forced me. I'm like, okay, I got to go and see. Was there 27 foot fouls? Like, Jesus Christ. All right, so let's go over and look at this. So I did watch it, and it 100%, like, he does foot foul quite a bit. If we were going by the letter of the law,
Yeah.
currently that the ACL came out with, where you are allowed to step over the line, but 1 foot has to remain planted or in contact with the ground the entire time. He did break it quite a bit, right?
Was it 27, Sean? Did you count?
I didn't count that
You didn't
many.
have your clicker ready to go?
I mean, I think the match lasted like 10 rounds or something. If you're really nitpicking, maybe it was 27. I don't know. What it comes down to is, like, I think that it is, if it's egregious, like where you're stepping across and you're bothering the other player, like taking them out of a rhythm, then it can be an issue. The step overs that, like, and the rule breaking in quotes that Alex was doing, wasn't anything close to the board. It was always like that back foot was kind of just like flopping around.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he steps through when he throws a cut and stuff, but like it didn't really affect the outcome of the game. Like he still had to throw the bag. He still had to make the shot to do it. And there were several pros, and I think Noah Wooten even said something about like pros not even caring. And he came back and replied saying that it's not that they don't care, it's that they're so locked in they could care less about what their opponent's doing.
Yeah.
Like they're not looking at somebody's foot, and if they're looking at the foot, you probably already lost the match.
They're
anyways.
only seeing the hole.
Yeah,
Like,
correct.
that's all they're looking at.
You know, it's tunnel vision kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it is. So I posted up just, you know, in PGA, right, in golf. If you're watching an event on TV, you can call into the PGA and you can make your complaint.
Yeah, you can.
And you'd be like, hey, I think a grain of sand moved, and you should go and check this out. And I think he grounded his club, and he's an asshole. So kick him out. Can you imagine if they did that for the ACL?
I would love it. I would love to be a fly on the wall of the trauma center that would need to answer all of the calls.
Where do you stand? Okay, so where do you stand on this? Where it is right now, the current rule? Like, are you cool with it? Like in a match like Alex Rawls, like you watched it?
Yeah.
Did it bother you at all? Like, do you think it affected the outcome in any way?
No, it doesn't really bother me. Like,
And I get what people are saying, but
I
there's
move
rules
around
for a
when I
reason. If you're
throw.
not going to enforce them, why have the rules? Like, I get that, but right now the rule is your opponent has to request an official. He
Yeah.
could, at any point, Gavin Cano could have stopped the match, could have gone over, requested an official, and be like, he needs to stop stepping over the line. He could have done that. That is within his right. My question is, are we going to see that in a national this year? Are we going to? Are we going to get somebody to request an official because somebody is stepping over the line?
I think
and
you
if
will.
they do, are they going to take a world of shit? Because we know it goes up and down.
Yeah, my
You're
thing
going to
is-
complain about people stepping over, and then people are going to get just destroyed online if they actually request it.
yeah,
Right?
But hey, if you're looking for an advantage, that's a cheeky one. Why not take advantage of it?
I mean, let's not forget Devin Harbaugh, Derek King. They challenged the fucking Bags.
Yeah.
At the World Championships and almost fucking
and it
shut
backfired
down
on
the
him.
fucking thing.
Yeah, and it backfired on him.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, like, I get both sides. I completely get that the rule is this, and he's breaking the rule. Why aren't they calling it? But the rules state that the opponent must request the official,
Yeah,
or the presence of an official has to be made known before the match would even start. The official was not watching that match, whoever was there. The commentators are not the officials, despite what everyone thinks. Their job is just to commentate on what they see.
I mean, I
They're
saw Wally say like that he'll never commentate and be the official.
No, you
Just do
can't.
it. Just do it, man.
You can't,
Just
though.
do it, man.
There's some sort of a bias there, though. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like my stance. Like, if it affects the outcome, like when, not to throw him under, but like when Tyler Parent, when this whole thing really came an issue, and then one match like where he was like clearly stepping over the midline of the board, affecting Duncan Clemmer's throw, like then to me, yes, that should be called.
Yeah, that's egregious.
That's something, again, or Duncan should have requested an official again.
Yeah.
But if it's something so small where his back foot was just lifting up and kicking out to the side, like, guys, let's really just take a breath. It did not affect the outcome of that game. Even if he moved back 3 inches, he's probably still making those shots.
yeah.
Like, they're that good. Like, eventually they're going to have to do something because
who
the
do you
game
think
is,
the
I
people
think
are
it's
that's
almost getting too
complaining the
easy
most?
and it's getting too boring.
Yeah.
They may need to think about moving the boards back or something. Like, really.
Moving it back or
Making the hole smaller.
I'm thinking making it wider, making the player lane wider, and just make him have to throw from a steeper angle.
Oh, that'd be kind of sweet. But yeah, it's I that's kind of where I fall on it. I don't
What
think
if
it's
it
like
was-
as a big a deal as
What if it was a moving platform?
no.
I think that'd be sweet.
You think it would be sweet?
I do. You're just trying to make it harder. I'm trying to give you ideas. Moving
I'm
forward.
just trying to think. Yeah, some random stuff. Just making sure I got everything I want to talk about. Oh, what was your opinion on the Tony Smith shot that everyone's touting like it's like the shot of the year?
I mean, it was a good shot.
I know. Like I think again, like it was a crazy good
It
shot.
was. I mean, yeah. Don't get me
I
wrong.
think it made it a
could
better
be shot of the year.
because
Will I be
he-
disappointed if it's shot of the year? Hell yeah.
I think it does it make it better because he had to hit it to kind of stay alive. Like I do think that helps a little bit.
It does help. Yeah, it bolsters it up a little bit.
I guess when I say I don't think it was shot of the year, could it be nominated at the end of the year for shot of the year? 100%. Do I think it's going to win? No, I just think something cooler is going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it wasn't like the coin slot. You know what I mean? It wasn't something like crazy like that. So, I don't know.
I don't know either.
And if you did get some sort of feedback for a little bit, Dane's heater kicked on. It was like louder than usual, so we don't know.
Yeah, so
we don't think you were picking it up. So
I repaired my heater, if you remember.
that's right. Yes.
Now it's just
correct.
like crazy loud down here, so we might have to.
I don't think it was
something out
picking it
with
up,
that.
but just let us know. If
It
you can
was
hear it.
picking it up a little bit.
So, all right, you want to cue the rap horn?
Do I ever? Went too far. It's for good measure.
Reach us at Instagram and Twitter and YouTube at Big Ass Cornhole.
And Facebook at Big Ass Cornhole Podcast. Thanks again to our sponsors. Visit dragonbags.com, drop code BIGASP12 to get your hands on some fire bags from Draggin Bags. And Cornhole Coffee to get that morning pick-me-up. Go grab your beans over at cornholecoffee.com. Code BIGASP saves you 10%.
Want to give a quick shout out to Black Sheep Baggers. All right, go to blacksheepbaggers.com, use code BIGASP, and you can save yourself some money. Stop throwing ugly bags. And you can do that by going to Blackjack Cornhole, blackjackcornhole.com, use code BIGASP, and you're going to save yourself some money. And if you go to gnarlybags.com, you can grab yourself a sweet set of pro level boards. Go to gnarlybags.com, use code BIGASP, and you're going to save yourself some money.
And Big D Bags, don't be a Big D bag. Just throw them over at bigdbags.com.
Patreon. If you're asking yourself, God, these guys are just incredibly good looking and their voices are so sexy, how can I support them? Well, you can if you go to patreon.com/bigasscornhole for the price of a beer a month. Okay. You can continue to feed Dane. All right. I'll keep
That's nice of you,
beers
Sean.
flowing over here for Dane.
Yes.
How about that? All right. So go to patreon.com. It's an area where we can post bonus content. We have monthly happy hours, bag giveaways, and more. So go to patreon.com/bigasscornhole. We'd greatly appreciate your support. Wanted to shout out our newest member. Shout out to Daniel Poppernack, Nicholas Loffman, Travis Merrill, and Dale Dorman.
All great names.
Hell yeah. I mean, those are like Patreon names.
Oh, yeah. Those are
Welcome
names
to the
right
Ask
there.
Cole clan. We greatly appreciate your
Hope to
support.
see you guys on a Patreon call.
Yeah, and so this interview with Jake Brannon, really excited for it. He was calling the matches in Mesa this weekend, so he had a kind of a first, kind of the best view in the house of everything
sure.
that was going on. But yeah, really talented player, new member of the ACL broadcast team. So interested to find out a little bit more of him, and we have plenty of fun random shit lined up.
Oh, I just pulled a whole bunch of cards out that were delightful.
Yep.
So
Yep,
we'll have some fun.
I did want to give a quick shout out before I forget. The Cornhole Cobbler. They are so it's like this guy. One of the guys is from Delaware, is doing like a write up of all their league stuff. So if you're on Facebook, go check out the Cornhole Cobbler. Some of the like the articles and stuff they write, super funny.
Pretty funny.
And we're
Nice.
sponsoring it. So
Hey, why not?
shout out to those boys that in there. Keep up the good work. Like it's really it's funny stuff.
Yeah, I love
and
it.
and
Love
it's
it.
a lot of work goes into it. It's like a recap of like their like league's performance and stuff. It's like it's very well done. A lot of time goes into it. So shout out to the Cornhole Cobbler.
I like it.
Hell yeah. All right, so stay tuned. We're going to be joined by Mr. Jake Brannon in just a second, but make sure, as always, you throw it straight. And it's nothing but four baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later. All right, welcome back to the Big Ass Cornhole Podcast. We are now joined by Mr. Jake Brannon. What's going on, man?
Hey guys, happy to be here, man. Got to start it off real quickly. I know I watch the show a lot.
Please.
One of my favorite segments, What Are We Drinking?
Yes.
I happen to join you guys.
Please.
Nothing too fancy, just a nice little Michelob Ultra.
Hey,
But hey,
listen.
I'm happy to
Cheers.
be
Cheers,
here.
brother.
It's gonna be fun.
Hell yeah, man. Thanks for joining us. So you have kind of just you've had an exciting like last month or two, man. You're doing a whole bunch of the ACL broadcast stuff. Now you're on the ACL podcast, I know. So just walk us through like how did all this kind of come about?
Man, yeah, I'm super fortunate. I'm super thankful. I mean, if we want to talk through how it all started, I mean, way back when 2021, I went to a conference event, the Atlanta conference, and I saw that Mike Morton and Allison Baldwin were setting up a live stream for it. That's what I went to college for. I was a journalism major in college, so I see that and I was like, oh man, commentating cornhole, that sounds like so much fun. I love cornhole. So I kind of like creeped in there. I was like, hey, do you guys need any help this weekend? And they were kind of like the nonchalant, oh yeah, whatever. Like we get time, whatever, kind of trying to brush us off. But I was really persistent. And I also wasn't good at cornhole back then. So when I was out of the tournament, I would just go up to them and be like, hey, I'm here. You guys want some help? And they're like, all right, fine, whatever. Let's give them a shot. And I guess I did good enough to the point where I'm driving home that Sunday after the conference event and they shoot me a text and says, hey, we're going to be setting up a live stream for all 4 nationals this upcoming pro season. Do you want to join us? And of course, I was like, hell yeah, I want to join you. That sounds like an awesome experience. And from there, it kind of took off. I go to all 4 nationals, and then the year after that, Wally starts bringing me into wanting to do more stuff with him. So then I start going to a couple of opens, and then fast forward to this year. Now I officially have a contract signed with the ACL. I'm working for them. I'm going to, probably 8 or 9 opens this year. I hope to go to all the pro events this year as well, and the world championships, obviously. And it's been a crazy couple of months. I've also been able to get on around the ACL, the podcast, which has been so much fun getting to work with, Trey and Anthony and Michelle and all them. So it's been a blast these past couple of months. I'm super thankful, super fortunate.
Yeah. Before you started doing the commentary for Cornhole, did you have any experience doing commentary at all? Or it's just something that you're like, oh, I think I could be good at that?
Yeah, very, very scarcely. I think I went to like a regional in like 2019, and somebody had I think it was Michael Woodring, shout out Beltway Baggers, had a really crappy setup, and he was just like, "Hey, you can commentate if you want." I was like, "Sure." Like I had always been obsessed with commentating and journalism, so I was like, this is gonna be pretty easy. I know a lot about cornhole, and I enjoyed it a lot. And Michael said I did a good job. Everybody that listened to me said I did a good job. And I'm a big words of affirmation kind of guy. So I was like, okay, it's people like me. Let's keep this going.
We got to keep the love fest going for sure. So this weekend you kind of had like the front row seat. All right, let's just jump into this stuff. You had the front row seat to the finals match. So a few things. All right, we'll get to the juicy stuff in a minute. But so you had Alex Rawls, Gavin Cano. Did you have a sense, obviously, like when you're commentating, you can't like let this on, but like, did you have a sense like early in that match? Like, did you just like posture wise from Gavin just kind of seem like it just went away real quick?
Yeah. From a outsider's perspective. Yeah. I knew it was going to be hard to beat Alex. I could tell from Saturday, him competing in doubles. And then even going back to the last open in San Diego, that he was on a mission. And not taking anything away from Gavin, but I think going into it, it felt to me personally like it was Alex's tournament to lose. The kid was just slinging it. It was fun to watch. It was really impressive to watch. But I think just a couple, unlucky breaks, a couple bad shots, kind of just started to snowball for Gavin that ended up just getting him really down mentally and emotionally. And when you're playing somebody as hot as Alex Rawls was at that second, it's almost impossible to come back into that.
And Rawls has like that killer instinct too, but like almost like that sneaky, like he it seems to me like he almost enjoys watching the other person suffer. Just a little bit. You know what I mean? Like there's a little bit darkness in there, hidden inside. Like I feel, like the subtle, because if you ever watch when he hits a good shot, he always looks at his opponent. Just a quick little oh, did you see that? Like, like, oh, yeah. Like, I just want to see his reaction kind of thing. Like, because if he's
for sure.
He feeds off it.
But not just that, he'll also kind of gander, look around to see if anybody saw what he just did. But no, I 100% agree. He's that type of person who will show no mercy. He will take the knife and stab it through your heart and then do it 75 more times to make sure you're dead.
Yep. But he's going to give you a fist pump and tell you a good game afterwards.
Yeah.
For sure.
Swell guy.
Also, got to give him credit. He gives a heck of an interview. We brought him over afterwards to talk, and he was great. Shout out to him because that's one of the big things as a live streamer, as a commentator. Trying to get a lot of these pros and these cornhole players more comfortable behind a microphone. And Alex has shown that he's gotten really good behind one. So props to him.
Yeah, he's had a lot of practice too. You know what I mean? Like it happens when you make the finals, a lot of national stuff. So you get a little bit more comfortable. No, but I think he's finally getting comfortable in his own skin. And I think this year him getting to be like the alpha dog in like a doubles team. This is not a shot at Derek Holland at all. We all know how good he is, but he's going to be the 1A, you know what I mean? And there's no more, he doesn't have to look for fucking approval. Go be Alex Rawls. You already know you're a stud. Regardless, and when he was playing with Trey Birchfield, he's always going to be like that little brother, I feel like, in that relationship. So I kind of like seeing a switch up, and I think that they're going to be a very, very difficult team to handle when it comes down to pro national time. Yeah. So
yeah, for sure. You always look before the start of a season when players switch bag companies. You always think that they're not going to be you have the thought in the back of your head, man, I hope he doesn't regress. I feel like in this situation, it's the exact opposite. Correct. He switched over these AAR rippers, and I'd be surprised if he loses at all. He's throwing them so well. He can do literally whatever he wants with them, and it's incredible to see.
He manipulates hybrid carpet better than any other person I've seen to date.
Yeah, you hit it
That was
perfectly.
very
We actually
impressive.
talked about it in our first part. Is just exactly that point. It's
Yeah.
like he was really good with like a pro sniper, right? But there are some limitations when you do like a flat disc, faster in quotes bag, right? But then you put a like in quotes like a carpet material in his hand, and now he can do all those stuff. Like he's rolling it like it was just like it was a normal shot. I mean, it was
Yeah,
very
and
very
he can
impressive.
just stroke with them too.
Yeah.
I mean, like
He's gonna be trouble, man. But we've already knew
Yeah.
that. Like he was a top 5 player going into it. He had surgery, but now he like those questions are gone. So now he automatically takes his spot right back up there,
Yep.
top 3 players right now.
100%.
Well, and that was a big thing. Like you could tell in singles match, he was still walking with the limp, so he's not even 100% yet. What's going to happen in a month or two when he's fully healed?
Correct.
I mean, he's already. It feels like he's already at a ceiling. What's the next step above? He's already won singles. He's already smoked everybody. What's next?
Here's
can
my thing. So
he
obviously
outduel
Alex
Mark
Rawls is
Richards?
crazy talented, but I want to see who is the hottest player 2 weeks before the national. It's still a long time away, man. We're still a month away, and a lot can change from then. So look at what happened last year, right? Justin Burton Jr. just happened to go on an absolute tear for like a month, right, where he just couldn't be beaten. Came down to earth a little bit, after national 2. Had a nice run, lost, but then after that had an okay season, like a very solid rookie year.
Or you had like Alec Rayone, who looked like he couldn't
exactly.
be beat.
Correct. We thought
Going
he was
at
the
the
next,
beginning of
correct.
last season, and then
So again, I'm
Nationals
not saying
happened.
that Alex Rawls is that guy. He's already shown that he's a top 5 guy, but I'm just like going into like a lock, like where he's gonna win. Like I think like it's still a little early. Now if he goes on and wins like 2 more, like oh shit, like yeah, you
Watch
might be
out.
right. Like he might just not lose. It's like he might be having one of those crazy awesome years. But we'll see.
there always seems to be someone every year so far.
Yeah.
Every year.
Every year.
I mean, even earlier this year, what about Ethan Walker comes out, sweeps and open,
Correct.
looked untouchable.
Yep.
And obviously he's still great, but he's kind of like falling back down and into the pack with everybody else.
Yeah, correct. It's just that's what's to me has always been impressive about Alex is that his level of consistency. I mean, there was at one point like where he didn't finish worse than like second in his bracket for like the first like 7 nationals or something crazy like that. Like I mean, he is just wildly consistent. So he's just a hard out anytime he's going to play. So no, I do agree. He's pretty crazy, but he did stir up a little bit of controversy this weekend. Again, you even mentioned it in the broadcast. You brought it up. All right, so we're going to blame you a little bit. He was frequent by the letter of the law. All right, how it is written right now, he did foot foul quite a bit. Now, is it still a foot foul if there's no official present? Well, no, really, right? I mean, that's kind of where I'm standing on the whole thing.
No, it's players gotta police it.
What are your thoughts about the whole thing? I mean, watching. I mean, it's pretty apparent. And now he wasn't doing anything to distract Gavin, but I mean, it was a foul.
Yeah, I if I could go back, I probably wouldn't have said anything just because we're in a law, like we were having good, and I look
you
over
validated
at my
a lot
Corey.
of people in the chat, like that's what it was. Like you validated their thoughts,
Yeah.
so then they all came out hot and heavy on it. I'm like, oh, look at this
For sure, yeah. I remember. I just got home today from Arizona. I landed around 1 p.m. Eastern time. I open up Facebook when I land, and one of the first things I see is a post on Facebook about Alex Switchfowl, and I was like, okay, well, here we go. And then I look, there are almost 400 comments under it. I was like, oh no. So then I immediately text Corey, the man I broadcast with, shout out Corey Russell, and I was like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said anything during the broadcast because I kind of really opened a can of worms. But no, I can really see it from both ways. I mean, obviously, like, by the rule book, it is a foot foul, but also by the rule book, unless the player, the opponent, in that case, Justin Burton Jr., calls it out and wants an official to come over and watch the match, there's nothing that anybody can do. There's nothing that can happen. So
correct
until Justin Burton Jr. goes out of his way to bring over an official, I mean, you can't enforce it.
What do you think the Facebook community or just in social media in general would do if, let's say, in the finals, right? Alex Rawls in the first round or second round, he had a foot foul, like in his last bag, right? It was by the law. If he stopped the game and went over and requested an official, I just feel like he would just get eaten alive by the comment section again. Like there's a no-win situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and you kind of saw a glimpse of it at the Virginia Open between Devin Harbaugh and Jay Core. Devin Harbaugh requested an official to come over and watch his match, and you could see the comments were just going at Harbaugh for calling him over. So it's kind of like a thing of like, you can't win here. Like, who's right and who's wrong. So it gets a little frustrating from a point of view, like from like my point of view, because I can see it both ways. So you're gonna, no matter what happens, nobody's gonna be happy. Nobody's gonna. Not everybody's gonna be happy. Excuse me. So I mean, it's kind of like a lose-lose situation.
100%.
So are you? Was your one single comment on the broadcast about that foot foul being an issue the reason why the ACL launched the officiating program?
No, not at all. That program has been in the works, obviously, for a really long time.
I'm just saying, did they have to launch it earlier because the timing was pretty convenient? Like it all happened like pretty much within.
We didn't even get into that in the episode.
We didn't.
Yeah, no, a couple of people have mentioned that to me, but no, it was just a really weird coincidence. That whole initiative has been in the works for quite a while. They've done an outstanding job behind the scenes of getting everything going, and I think it's a really interesting initiative. I think it could help out. I think it really could change the game a lot.
Do we know?
It's just a weird coincidence.
Do we know anything like date wise? Like, are they like when they expect to have like the first batch of like officials ready? Like, is the target date like National One? Like,
not off the top of my head. Now I haven't really had a big chance to go sit down and read through the entire thing. But as far as I'm aware, there's not really a set date yet. But that's also above my pay grade. So
I'm also very interested to see just pure number of volunteers, participants that are actually going to go through like this training.
Yeah.
There is payment, right? There's $250. So if you're staying local to you, it might be worth your time. If you're not, listen, I'm donating $100 whenever I'm playing anyways. So
yeah, why not make a little money back?
But if you're asked to then travel to certain events, I highly doubt that travel is going to be covered. Just like normal officials, right? Yeah. Like if you're a baseball guy, like you don't, or an umpire, right? You don't get driving out, and they pay you for the game, right? You don't get travel time and all that. I mean,
sometimes you get mileage, like college games. I got mileage.
Okay. Yeah, it was just it's an interesting thing. I think it's the step in the right direction if we want to legitimize what we're doing. Eventually, I think the goal would be to have an official at every court. That is going to be crazy expensive.
Yes.
But you need to have it. I think you need to have enough officials to make it comfortable for players to go over and request an official. Because right now, if you request an official, there's like maybe 3 qualified people in the whole fucking building that can do it. Really. You know what I mean? That know all the rules. You know what I mean? But besides
You'd be
that,
one of them.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't be. Like, I don't think I know every.
Sean, your captain rule book. Get out of here.
I'm not. I'm not. But I do think if having more officials just readily available will make maybe pros might be more inclined to do it. I think eventually there's going to be just don't step over the line. I think that would be the easiest thing. But then you wouldn't need officials. So then why would you roll this whole thing out? So to me, this is almost like a sign that like, hey, we're not going to change the rule. The rule is where it is. There is a black and white phase for it now that this says the back foot must stay planted. I don't know. Maybe we're going to get to instant replay eventually. Can officials go to a monitor and zoom in on a foot is it lifting up?
I mean, that's awful ticky-tack.
Listen.
If they get to that point, then just change the rule till you can't cross the line. This is how I see it. And if that ever happens, I want it to be as tacky as possible and be like bowling with like the infrared beam. We gotta really set the standard.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we definitely can't have bowling.
If somebody crosses it, just like huge X just shows up like in the middle of the court. We could figure it out.
That would be crazy. I will say I am aggressively against making a rule that allows no foot fouling. Not foot fouling, not stepping over. I personally believe that some of the greatest shots of all time throughout the ACL just happens to be when somebody steps over the line. So I agree to a sense that there should be some. I like the idea of making the rule that you need to have your back foot planted, and I like because you look at kids like Ryan Trader. He's fixed his throw where he does it perfectly. He has that step over, but he keeps that back toe planted every single time. So I like that rule. But yeah, I don't like the idea of getting rid of the step over rule altogether. Because you look at players like a Noah Wooten when he was in his prime a couple of years ago. I mean, he had a weird throw, but he put his whole body into it. You take that away, I mean, what do are you doing? I think it takes away from a lot of the fun for me personally. That's just
But
me.
my question is, are those shots that you're speaking of impossible from behind the line then? They
They're
can't
not
gain
impossible.
their momentum
No,
from further back. I'm just playing devil's advocate because again, I
No,
don't
no,
care if you step
Yeah.
over the line. Like me as a player, I really don't give a shit because I step over sometimes, like barely, but like sometimes I do. Like I get it, but I don't know. To me, it's just like if people are going to be that nitpicky about it, and ACL is going to get so much shit about it.
It's only getting
figure
this
it out.
polarizing because the best players, like players that are among the best, are all kind of doing it.
Yeah,
a lot. If you look at most of the
it's
top
a marked
pros,
advantage. I mean, you're literally shortening the distance you have to throw the bag. You're able to throw it harder from closer.
100%.
I mean, I get it. Like it's kind of a thing to
and
a
the
tool
whole
that you
the
can
one
use.
argument that I think is lazy, right, is the one where it's like, well, if you can't throw 27 feet, you need to go to the gym. Like, all right,
That's the
okay.
guy that just stands like squared up and just grabs the bag by one corner and just flings it.
Yeah.
Like, you know that guy that he could pour him in.
If we're talking about overall fitness, like let's be honest, 95% of us are not exactly passing a physical fitness test these days.
Oh, dude!
So-
I mean, look at the game yesterday. Jacob Trzynski, he's probably the most fit dude in all of cornhole, and he has a lot of momentum in his throw too. It's just how it is. It's just how he throws a cornhole bag, and that's okay.
I am completely fine with the current rule because again, it made it black and white where the foot had to be planted.
Yes.
When they added that in, I'm good. Okay, you have a black and white that's something. So to me, with them adding the officiating in, to me that is a clear sign that they don't plan on taking this step rule out ever.
Like they made the rule, so now they need to enforce the rule. As if you're going to do it, I know like players have to enforce it and stuff, but players also can't feel scared to enforce the rule.
And I do think that there's probably some of that, a little bit of it.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
I mean, for sure,
yeah. So it's never
going to
be
cornhole just that gentleman's game where people are just like, dude, like your little step over is not like.
I mean, if
the reason you're beating
we're really
me,
going
like,
down to it, this is an age-old ACO versus ACL thing. I mean, if we're really thinking like this is a lot of the old school cornhole guys that started in the ACO where you couldn't cross the line. I mean, fuck, Tanner Halbert got called for a penalty and when he won King of Cornhole.
Yeah.
Like in the first round, it was on his fourth bag. He just threw it and started walking after because he knew it was in, but it was a foot foul. You know what I mean? So I think that there's just some old school purists out there, but the game's going to evolve. It's going to pass them and they're going to be left behind just like everything else.
In this world.
Yeah, we're not throwing canvas bags in anymore. Things have changed over the past couple of years.
I still think one national should have suede and duck on it, but that's just
I would do it. Bring back slide rights. I miss slide rights so much.
I would love just having a same bag tournament once a year. I think it would be entertaining.
Yeah.
I think we've reached a point in the sport where like you almost have to, but like no bag maker is going to agree to it.
So Jake, let me ask you.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
I was going to say, I'm like, we're talking about bag manufacturers. I'm a big advocate for believing that there are too many bag manufacturers nowadays. And I commented on one of your Battle of the Bags posts, but like looking at the Battle of the Bags, that big bracket, I like to consider myself pretty savvy in knowledge of the world of cornhole. There are quite a few bag manufacturers and types of bags that I have never even heard of before.
Yeah,
so it makes me think, and I was like, do we really need this many bags? Do we really need
I mean, at this rate, next year we're going to have like well over 300 bags.
It's going to be.
I
mean, every year it keeps growing and like they're getting more relevant. But I was going to ask, so is the game of cornhole, in your opinion, is it going to get to a point where it's going to be hard to grow the general public interest just because like all the pros are just getting so good? Is it going to get boring? Like, do we need to do like eventually? I'm not saying anytime soon. Are we going to see a change in the game to make it more difficult at the pro level? Whether it's they're moving the boards back, they're making the hole smaller, something along those lines.
Like podcasts are already boring enough. How are we going to jazz the sport up?
Amen.
I don't think that it will get more boring over time. I just think they will start implementing, and not like rule changes, but like implementing other ideas and things to, keep the audience engaged. Like what they did with the revamping of ACL teams last year has, in my opinion, is skyrocketed the love for teams. Like you add cities, you add states, so people locally can start getting into them. Like I'm into it. Like I know I'm biased, but I love ACL teams and what they're doing this year. So you add things like that, and you can add other things like Super Bowl. So you get celebrities. So you get outside people who don't know what cornhole is, and you're watching these celebrities play on TV. Like that's pretty cool. So I don't think they're going to end up like, moving the board back to 28 feet because that would make it hard, I think. But I just think over over the next couple of years, I think there are a lot of things that are going to be in place that will end up, benefiting the sport a lot and getting more people involved and intrigued. Because I mean, they've already done a lot within the past 2 or 3 years to help that case, and I think we're just going to keep getting bigger and better as the years progress.
I'm also a big fan of teams, and at the end of last year, I found myself like, I'm like, all right, I'm in. Like, I'm an aviator, man.
Yeah.
Like, let's ride or die. Let's go. We knew a bunch of guys on the team. Like, I really found it. And then this year happened, and they roll out like the minor league teams. I'm like, okay, this is cool, right? This is cool. And then it's just like, and I know they're listening. So again, this is constructive criticism. You're falling flat. Again, if I have a
followers and it's hard to follow it.
I follow this shit. Yeah. I mean, I watch actively looking for stuff, and there is zero promotion of this stuff, man. I never even know who the fuck is playing. Like, if it's not going to be directly from the ACL, then the ACL needs to get pressure on those team owners or whoever is managing their Facebook accounts to then promote it themselves. Because I could not tell you right now what teams. I'm assuming Arizona Burn, just a wild guess, played at this last one. Couldn't tell you who they played. Couldn't tell you who's on the team anymore. Yeah. There just doesn't seem like they ended on such a high note last year. It seemed like it was going in the right direction. I think I'm just selfishly disappointed on like where it's at so far. Could it turn it around at nationals and stuff? Of course it can. I think it was a smart move to incorporate it into the ACL Open. And from talking to enough pro players, it sounds like that came from the pro committee as like an idea, as a collective whole. Like they kind of wanted like, hey, these makes for really long days. Maybe if we spread this out, we don't have to deal with as much, but like, I feel like it's losing some of that lackluster that it had behind it. I don't know.
Yeah. They're with you. I was going to say the exact same thing. So
that's where I
took the words right out of my mouth.
Anyways. So.
Yeah, I will say the inclusion of minor league teams and the things they have done this year is, while intriguing, it can also be very confusing from an outsider's perspective. Oh, yeah. Like I'll admit, like there are some things like I was confused too. There's just some times where I don't even know what's going on. I'm a live streamer. Like I know the schedule and I have no idea what's going on, which obviously isn't the greatest thing. But I guess the only thing I will say is I have a strong inkling that once the first national kicks off, it will get a lot better because we'll start seeing more of these teams on TV broadcasts and as well as more live stream content as well. And I think it'll start to make a little more sense later in the season. But yeah, I do agree that there should be something that can make it easier to follow and more fun to follow as well at the start of the season.
The ACL is in a tough spot, right? Because obviously as an organization right now, a lot of their business model is driven by non-pro player participation, right? So you have to promote obviously like the Open itself, but like, I feel like they're still, if they're going to be considered the league, right? Like right now they are. But like, and we're going to try to grow the sport in the pro division. I feel like there needs to be more ownership on them promoting that side of it and not always worry about the player participation. Fuck Addicted to Cornhole and all the chirps. Like worry about growing the sport at the pro level. Like that's what you're supposed to be fucking doing. I get that you want, here's a secret. All right. No one wants to admit it. We're all going to still show up.
Yeah.
They're all going to fucking show up. You know why? Because we all like the game.
Yeah,
and there's nowhere else to fucking play.
See our buddies.
There's nowhere else to play. So if they want to play. So like, I feel like sometimes like they forget that. And it's like promote the pros, like promote what is like what are the end goal is. We all want these guys to be making $1 million and traveling the country and doing a tour in these teams. We want this game to get bigger, but we can't be like worried about the general public's opinion. Like fuck who, I'm nobody. Like everyone on their opinion on Addicted Cornhole, it doesn't fucking matter. Make the decision what's best for the growth of the overall pro division. At least that's where I'm standing right now.
Man, what a soapbox.
Hey, listen.
Well done.
Listen, man. Put me in a market.
No, I mean, for sure. Yeah, I agree with everything you've said. I mean, the pros are what matters. We need to.
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to put you in an awkward spot. I know you just like so.
No,
I just
over here like, God damn it, you're gonna get so bad at me.
I'm like, shit, I should be going on this poor guy. So.
No, you're good. No,
all right. So
I'm with it.
Besides Alex Rawls, you've been to a bunch of the Opens and stuff. Anyone else like that maybe you weren't like super familiar with that you've been impressed with so far this season?
Yeah, two kids in the Pacific Northwest, Candler Bag and Hayden Gonzalez.
Right,
Literally no clue who either of them were in Myrtle Beach. And then Kendler comes in and wins junior singles in Hamilton, Ohio, and San Diego.
Yeah, did he miss a
Hayden
bag? Like,
Gonz-
I feel like he didn't miss a bag like either weekend, like in
No,
those divisions.
not at all.
It's just crazy.
Ridiculous. And then you have Hayden Gonzalez, who comes out of nowhere, double dips Joe Neested in Hamilton, had a really good run this past weekend in Mesa too. I mean, look, I'm telling you right now, these specific, like the Pacific Northwest and the West Coast in general, these kids and the talent they are producing is freaking nuts. I mean, just this weekend, I was in the Pacific Northwest, but you had Levi Haddock win his open singles bracket, beating Caleb Batson. Never heard of the kid before yesterday.
If you so
Freaking
we knew
ridiculous.
of him just because we've gone to like a few TCL events. He's done very, very well down in the TCL events. So like he's kind of like if you're like from Texas, like you would have known him, but outside of there,
Yeah.
you don't. You know what I mean?
And a lot of the comments made me aware of that as well.
Yeah,
So I mean, and I guess it's on me for not growing my knowledge outside of the ACL. But
it's too many players, man.
But
It's
it was surprising.
I think the West Coast is definitely catching up. Like I think it's now an even ground, right? Like 5 years ago when we first started, like maybe again now that I'm like thinking through it, maybe it wasn't so much that the talent discrepancy, but maybe it was like the coverage and there weren't as many players.
Yeah,
out
there weren't
there
as
just
many
in general.
places playing the sport.
It's just getting
now
more
it's just
relevant
growing.
out there. Yeah, it's
absolutely.
definitely it's definitely catching up. I completely agree. They're definitely kind of a hotbed for a lot of the younger like generation that's coming up. It seems like a lot of them are popping up through there.
For sure. No, I mean, obviously the top two states right now are still Florida and Texas, but I mean, you got to keep an eye on California. They're getting really good, really fast.
But Ohio has the top rated PPR player in the country,
No,
Jeremiah
second.
Ellis.
No, second. Matt Guy is first.
Second, Mac
Matt
Guy
Guy's first.
by a
Kentucky.
lot.
Is he? Oh, I didn't.
It was
I
10,
was surprised.
It was 10.45 to 10.35.
Oh, was it? Okay, never mind then. Wow.
Oh, I didn't even
Sorry,
catch
I'm a
Matt
loser. I
Guy on
remember that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised we're not talking more about Mac Guy. I know a lot of people are saying PPR doesn't matter a lot. And there's a lot more aspect into cornhole than just, what we're seeing in the stats wise, but I mean, he's still the GOAT.
Okay, well, all right. So let's
So, all right,
let's talk about that guy.
I made a nice argument on this actually.
If you do say so yourself.
Yeah, because somebody posted this on Addicted to Cornhole recently, and my analogy was: did you know that Albert Pujols played until 2022, and nobody spoke about him toward the end of his career, but he ended up his final season batting like a 295 and had like 30 something home runs and just went out with an absolute banger of a season. Show that he was still the GOAT. And I'm just like, nobody talked about him, but he was still relevant. Like still made the All-Star team, all this shit. Like it was just, I don't know. Just thought it was a good.
If you talk to
I'm
Matt,
kind of
though,
getting
he
the.
wants to be he wants to be the GOAT.
It's not the fun, sexy thing to talk about. Like cornhole's like a youth heavy sport. I will always root for Matt Guy to win a national because I just think it's funny. So many people hate on him that I'm just like, I just wait for the comments to come in after it. Well,
his rookie year, was my first year working as an ACL commentator, and I was one of those dudes who was like, man, Matt Guy, who cares about him? Let's get some of these young guns into the broadcast. He's won enough. Let's go, whatever. But now that all these kids have started to rise up and people have started to forget about Matt Guy, I would love to see him make a TV broadcast in pro singles. That would be sick.
So,
to shut up all these young kids who just do nothing but block and roll. And
do you think that
show
it's still
that sliding
possible?
and airmailing? What's that?
Do you think that it's still sustainable? Like his game style. Like, do you think that's still in this current day and age, like with this crop, where the rollback seems like it's just easy now for all of them? Can he still win a national?
So I can see this in two different ways. Is it sustainable? No. But is it possible for him to get hot once at a national? Absolutely.
Correct. I agree. I completely agree.
I still think he has one of the best airmails in the game. So if he can find it and lock in like we know Matt Guy can lock in for just one tournament, I'm talking 100 rounds of singles, he will be on an ESPN broadcast this year.
The difference now is like previously his 65% airmail was good enough to win a national. If he's going to be on to win a national with his style, I think he has to throw closer to 75. I mean, you can't miss many.
And you know what? I bet he knows that too. I bet he understands that the game has evolved around him and he needs to keep up to stay with it too. So I'm sure he's in his warehouse practicing thousands of airmails every single day. That's why he has the highest current PPR in the entire country. so he can just to prove to himself that he still has what it takes, and to see if he can prove it at a national.
So the problem is, so when Matt Guy first came in, even like his rookie season, right? The rollback was there, right? But only so many players. It really wasn't.
It
Like
was
this
more
crazy.
like the wow shot.
So Matt Guy was throwing at that time before really stats were keeping up. I'm sure he was like 10 and a half, almost 11. It's just like he is now. Not a whole lot has changed. The problem is the slow back players used to be like an 8.5, maybe 9 PPR. Now those same fucking rollback guys are averaging a 10 anyways. So like that gap is closed so much, and their DPRs are climbing because they can play that and hit like maybe the rollback percentage now. At once upon a time, the rollback was a safer shot because he was going to stay on the board. It wasn't going to go in the hole all the time as a high of a percentage
Now guys
as an airmail.
choose it, like,
Yeah, fuck yeah.
repeatedly.
We saw it again in Alex Rawls.
Yeah.
Alex Rawls, I never thought I was going to see him throw a rollback before an airmail. Alex Rawls, and then he was doing it with ease.
Yeah.
With ease. That's what I'm saying. So, like, I feel like that talent gap, I completely agree. I feel like Matt Guy, he can get hot at one national and just throw like an 11, like just some absurd fucking number all day and miss like 3 bags, and he's going to win just because he's been there, done that. He's got to lock in. I feel like since he's been in the ACL, because he's had such a storied history, and like, you know, we always joked about him being a rookie, he's come into the ACL as like a heel. Almost, right? He's been the villain.
Oh, for sure.
He's been easy to root
he's-
against. So I feel like that's why we don't hear about him much, because everyone, like, he's fun to talk about when he's relevant, but when he's not relevant, people are kind of like deep down. I think there's a big population that are like, they're okay with it. Now, the old school diehard cornhole fans, he's got a very loyal following, but I feel like if they're smart, marketing wise, if I was Guy Nation, I was sitting there in a meeting with them, I'd be like, listen, boys, you are going to become the most hated doubles team in all of ACL. Because you're going to play into it, and you're going to be loud, and you're going to be proud, and you're going to do your weird snake kiss thing after every match you hit. Every airmail, I want you guys pulling out the purple cobras and, you know, whatever the hell you want to call it. You know what I mean? So I that would be my advice to them.
If I'm Matt and Brett, I'm going back into the archives. I'm looking up film of the old WWF Attitude Era and watch what some of those heels do and how they act, because that's exactly what they need to do coming into this pro season. It would be so good for cornhole to have like a legitimate heel team that nobody wants to win, but if they can somehow, you know, get hot and win, man, everybody's gonna watch just to want them to lose.
Guy Nation is still, as a doubles team, you can't count them out. Because there is something to be said about that chemistry.
I already
thousands
know. I already
and thousands
inked
of
them
rounds.
down to win a shootout.
They're
winning a shootout as a doubles team.
But I'm saying at a national.
That's just Brett Guy's a shootout.
Yeah,
shootout dog.
Yeah, but even at a national, I think that it's getting less and less every year. But I think that this first year that they're playing as a pro doubles team, Guy Nation still means something.
Yeah,
as like a headspace against teams that are stepping up. Like, oh fuck, we got to play Matt and Brett. There's still a little bit of that. Not as much as when nobody used to want to play fucking Matt.
Yeah.
Now everyone's like, all right, like I can. He doesn't beat everyone anymore. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's leveled down, but they can still take advantage of it this year, I think.
See, I still take the notion that facing Matt Guy in singles is everyone's Super Bowl still.
100%. You have to.
So like he gets everyone's best game. Correct. It's really hard to win through a tournament. Guy Nation, though, is a doubles team. Not quite the weight that he used to have.
They're one of my big question marks, because I think Brett Guy had a big off year last year. Him and Eric Davis didn't really do anything. So for me, it's focused more around Brett than it is Matt. If he can bounce back and, you know, fly with his father the way that he has been in the past, they are going to be tough to beat. But, you know, I've seen them compete in a couple of opens, and I haven't really been impressed with Brett. At least not yet.
Correct.
So I mean, we'll see what happens, but I'd like a big step up from Brett this year.
I think Brett is one of those guys that, if you remember back to their rookie year, right? Brett and Eric had a national number 1 to forget, right? And then after that, he kind of locked in and kind of figured out this is still like just early on. Like no one that's what I'm saying. Like we're still 2 months away from the season.
Yeah.
Brett Guy might have maybe touched a cornhole bag once since Christmas.
And I think he's also a gamer. Like when the moment comes up, he tends to just hit those shots.
We're talking about Brett Guy, right? He had a down year. You know who we don't ever talk about anymore is Eric Davis. Like, does he play cornhole anymore? Like, is he still a thing? Like, he was the biggest name with that fire cornhole.
Did he have the dreaded youth cornhole curse? Did he find a girlfriend or something?
If we're being honest with ourselves, he's never quite lived up to the hype. right?
No,
I mean, yes,
I
he's
mean-
been successful in the shootouts with
Not
Brett
on the
Guy,
single side,
but
yeah,
not on the single side.
single
He's
side.
never been quite that guy. Like when he came over, he was dominating the ACO.
I mean, he'll forever
Dominating.
go down as one of the guys that can hit the craziest shots out there.
Yeah.
But I
Still
think that's
one of
about
my-
as good as we're ever going to hear
One of my
from.
all-time, this is going to go back in the archives. One of my favorite all-time matches I've ever seen is in the pro qualifier tournament. Year number 1, Tony Smith versus Eric Davis. Jesus Christ, was that a epic match when those guys were both throwing sticky bags, and this was before everyone was just rolling shit. And you're like, how are they getting a bag to do that? Like, and they mean to do that.
Yeah, I mean, they were.
So Eric Davis is like, to me, this is a big question mark here, man. Like, where are we? Like, are you still relevant? Like, or are you going to be like that guy that hits crazy shots every once in a while? You'll make the highlight reel, but like, you're nothing more than that. And I feel like so far in singles, at least that's all he's been.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you guys a question then.
Please.
Are you at all nervous knowing what transpired with Eric Davis? Are you at all nervous coming into the season to see what Jeremiah Ellis can produce?
No.
Because he was the same way. He was fantastic and smoked everybody in a different organization the year before.
Singles
and I
or
was coming in
doubles?
here. Was that?
In singles or doubles?
I'll say singles.
No, I don't. Because the only reason is I think that Jeremiah Ellis is at a different headspace and a point in his life where he decided to make this jump. And it's a financial commitment too. He's got family, he's got a wife and kids. So when he travels, he expects to win because like he knows that like, hey, that's money in my pocket. And I think he's motivated. I think I don't want to say he's doing this for like to show that like, hey, the ACO is still there. Cause like I think he's kind of moved over.
He's moved on.
He is so desperate to show that he belongs among the best. Cause in his head, he's been there the whole time. He's better now than what he was 3-4 years ago when he was doing really well. And then coming off last year going into this, I don't have the concerns. I think that is he going to win a national year 1? We all know how hard it is, man. We know how hard it is. Now, if you're saying the benchmark of success is only if he wins a national, I don't know. He's my early season for rookie of the year. I mean, I know maybe that's not I know he's got a popular fan base. I know Ryan Trader would be another one that would be up there, but we can say the same thing about Ryan. Again, we have not played an ACL national yet. We've not played a national. Opens are different than nationals. We see it all the time. So I feel more comfortable going in with Jeremiah as my early season. Honestly, either Jeremiah or Sammy Soto, or to me would be like my two favorites winning rookie of the year going in.
What they've been through.
No, I agree.
So
I was just curious to see what you guys say. I 100% agree. I feel like this is so different. I am all aboard the Jeremiah Ellis train. I think this dude has legit talent. I think his, like you said, his mindset, his mentality in this game is one like we've rarely ever seen in the ACL, which is why I'm so excited for April to see what he can do in an actual legitimate pro event within the ACL. I cannot wait.
If you're not super familiar with him, I'm sure by now most people have seen him play. Mm-hmm. If you're not really familiar with him, he has more Jordan power in him probably than anyone else in the league. And I mean that by like, he's not afraid to let you know when he's doing well. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's not afraid to chirp a little bit. And I hope we get to see that. Like the ACL needs desperately another character. And I'm not saying he needs to ham it up. Just be yourself, man.
Yeah, it can't just be Trevor Brooks.
And again,
right?
He's got the game style. Again, not to like he's got the game style that I think messes with a lot of people because basically your bag, as soon as it stops moving, the bag's coming out of his hand. You don't even have time to fucking process what the fuck just happened. And most of the time he's rolling over your bag. Like, what the fuck just, all right. Is it my turn again?
Yeah,
like, I think sometimes you can kill it like Damon Dennis where you're like, is he still, all right, he's not napping. All right, we're good. Like he's still moving. And then you have Jeremiah Ellis, who's just in a blink of an eye, he's throwing his next bag. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's almost like a test of endurance kind of thing. And he's shown that he can beat a whole variety of like Mac guys. He can beat the roll bag players. So I feel comfortable with them going forward.
For sure. Yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do.
Oh, yeah. You want to get to some fun random shit?
Yeah.
I found this one.
This
first one, I think it was right on top. Let me see. Okay. Would you rather go on adventures with wild horses or wild dolphins?
Dolphins all day.
Dolphins for sure.
Okay,
Heck
so here's my thing: is we're not mermen, right? We can't breathe underwater. We still pick dolphins.
Sean, I went
like even though you're not gonna see anything, like cool. You can't hold your breath that long.
I rode dolphins, and they keep you out of the water just fine.
Yeah, I know that.
I rode dolphins too. They're awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't need to go
grab,
underwater.
Yeah, you just grab onto that fin and be like, onward, buddy. And
But
Right
where are you going? Like, you just
dude, just take me where.
Adventures.
Yeah, adventures. Let's go. Just
It doesn't matter. You're on a dolphin.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where we go.
well said. Well said. I
Wild
mean, how do you argue
horse,
with
all
that?
right, everyone thinks wild horses are safe. We had this argument actually on vacation. Wild horses will buck and kick you clean in the chest and destroy your life. Dolphins want to be our friends. All right.
And dolphins are smarter too. Yeah,
That they are.
smart.
I'm not arguing.
All right,
I'm
so,
just trying to play devil's advocate, guys.
I have a good question for all of us here.
Please.
All right.
Should the cornhole season have an all-star break? And if so, what events would they have?
Oh my god, I love this question.
Should the cornhole season have an all-star break? And if so, what questions would they have?
Like what
events?
competitions?
Well,
Yeah.
what events?
Yes.
Yeah, what
Okay.
contests?
I think you have to have a length of time bag spinning on the finger,
I like it.
right?
Mhm.
Or maybe like an obstacle course, like you have to like walk around like back and forth like while spinning a bag on your finger. You clearly have to have like an airmail something, right?
Yeah.
Where I think the hole
I'm-
gets progressively smaller, maybe.
I'm thinking like a legitimate sanctioned long distance competition. You
Yes.
take like or kind of like the 3-point contest where we only take like a select few. You take maybe 8 players. You start at 30 feet. You got to make an airmail, and you keep going back and back until somebody misses. I think that can be.
What if you do something like a
big enough
3-point
venue.
contest? What if you like literally make an arc 27 feet around
Yeah,
the
you
board,
just gotta.
and they got to go
move
spot
all
up
the
at
way
those
around.
different spots and see if they can. That would be
I love
actually
that.
kind
You
of
actually
fun.
you have the little carts in
Yeah.
there.
Yes, we're coming up with. Oh, that's our next video.
Yes,
That's
for sure.
definitely our next video for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I like that.
I also would like to see these cornhole pros that we've only ever seen play cornhole try actual sports. Like, give me like a legitimate like basketball 3-point contest between Ryan Smith, Jacob Trzynski, Mark Richards, and then throw in like a Jack Gore or like a Kaylee Hunter or something like that,
Dude,
and just see
have
what
more
happens.
fun than that. Like you gotta like I want like Deborah Odom on the block. Give me like
Oh, heck
Damon
yeah.
Dennis under the hoop. Like I
Oh,
want.
yeah.
You could do a home run derby. I mean, come on, we could get I'm just spitballing here. We could this could work.
Yeah, no, I do like
I think
that.
we do a speed challenge. Who can throw the bag the hardest?
Oh, that
You
would be
clock
kind of
it.
sweet. Yeah.
That would be good.
Yeah, you have to have rules though. Like you have the standard ACL, like you can step over the line.
Yeah,
but
you
foot has
can't.
to stay
Foot's
planted.
got to stay
Foot
You
planted.
got
can't
back
be
foot
crow
up,
hopping.
all right?
You
Don't
or
you
you
pick
could
that
crow
You
back
could
hop.
foot
crow
up.
hop.
You could still crow hop.
Yeah, and you
underhand.
could you throw it overhand?
What do you think? Okay, Dane, what do you think you're speaking? So Dane used to pitch. He does have a cannon on him, and I've seen him
Okay.
throw underhand, like
Oh, yeah.
women's
I
like
can-
fast pitch softball, and it is pretty impressive. What do you think your speed could hit? You
If
think
I
you could
was
hit like
going
60,
ho hum,
65?
yeah, I think I could get
Yeah,
hit
but you're-
like 65.
That's what I figured. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
They're throwing a cornhole bag though, not like a softball.
That's
cornhole
true.
bag.
Yeah.
75.
You think 75?
That's a lot
Yeah, that's real.
No,
that's what I'm thinking.
for,
I think
for a
65.
1 pound bag.
I think 65 I could get.
Think
Because you're also
65?
thinking like 1 pound bag, that means more torque and you can really rip that thing around easier than a softball. Softballs are not
Still
that
weight,
heavy.
though.
And it's more weight is actually going to help you. That's why you can throw a baseball so hard because those little BBs are a little bit heavy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what would the fastest throw. I'd be shocked if somebody hit 70. Like I'd be shocked. You know what I mean? Like that-
I would be well because are we only throwing underhand?
Yeah, underhand.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, underhand.
I would be shocked if somebody gets over 60.
Yeah, that's what I'm
All
saying.
right, we're working on that.
Yeah,
I'm going
it's-
to beat 60 right off the like
Dude,
my
we're
first
literally-
throw.
we're
And
just
it's going to
coming
be
up
like, oh
with
shit.
content.
okay.
I mean, it's hard to judge because you don't really know. You've never trying to throw a beanbag as hard as you can. So I don't know.
Oh,
I would like to see that happen. I would pay money.
oh, quick math, like simple math competition. That'd be funny. Yeah. Like your word problems
you
like
flash up just
yeah.
like it's just like
You
a
show 'em the
2-second
board.
flashcard of the board and what bags are on it. And what was the score of this round?
player A has 2 bags in the hole. Player 1 has 1 bag in the hole, but 3 on the board. Like, what's the score? Like that would be.
That would be a funny one.
Hell yeah.
A player touches the bags before the round is over. Player 3
Yes.
has.
I think
Two
you got to
bags
do
out,
the
man. Oh, God.
27-foot shuttle run.
That would be funny.
You throw 4 bags, sprint to the other end, throw 4 bags, sprint back, time.
All right, let's see here.
I like that. I hope you're writing these things down. This could work. It's good.
It's all stored for the world.
Yep, correct.
It's forever embedded in.
Well, while we're getting to
podcasting.
some listener questions, Mike said, let him know the broadcast in Arizona was on point all weekend. Great job.
Hey, that was fun. That wasn't even that much me. I was all Corey Russell, man. He comes in with these incredible inventions, like not innovations. Like he set up these new cameras, the higher quality. They look freaking great. He brought these wireless mics so I could do those down and back interviews with during the commercial breaks. Man, shout out Corey. He's a dog.
All right, so there's a few questions that have me intrigued, so I'm just going to ask him. Hayden Gonzalez wants to know, why are you so bad at bowling?
Okay.
All right, so what's the story
after we finished setting up, tearing down last night, we went to a main event which just has bowling.
Yeah.
So it was me, Hayden, Michael Gonzalez, Corey, Afina Delgado, Gavino, and their son. Hayden was the worst. Hayden, I think finished. No, Michael finished dead last. Sorry, Michael, I'm throwing him under the bus. But Hayden finished second to last, and then Gavino won, and I was second.
All right, there you go.
So I don't know why he asked that. Yeah, Hayden was not as good at bowling as I was.
So there's two other ones that really intrigue me. So we'll start with this one. I'm supposed to ask you about your twin brother, the Korean Jake.
Yeah, there's my buddy back home. He runs our local leagues. His name is Justin. He runs a league. I live in Pasadena. The league's called the Dirty Dina Hole Violators.
Ooh,
Nice.
He's come up with that name. It's great. But he went viral maybe last year because I took a picture of like myself, and he photoshopped his face on it and then just started sending it everywhere. And it's blown up so big. Like he'll do it every single time. Like when this year during Christmas, when people were sending out Christmas cards and put them on Facebook, he would take them, Photoshop our faces on the back of them, and then repost them. It says, "Man, I like this Christmas card." My personal favorite one is that he got me this for Christmas. He took the picture of the Last Supper, Jesus and his 12 disciples, photoshopped our faces behind them, didn't tell me, and then I guess he gave it to my mom, and she hung it up on the wall. And I didn't really notice until I walked in one day, and I look up and I see it there, and I was like, "What?" And it made me laugh so hard. But now Justin, I love Justin. He's my dog.
Oh, yeah.
Great tournament director back home. He's funny. He's funny.
I meant to tell you this. We want to play a prank on mom and dad.
Yeah.
When they're gone. So I don't know if you've seen, like, there's you can buy like little like rubber animals, like tiny.
Yeah.
And just hide them all over the house, random places. We're gonna do that.
Yeah,
We're
we do
gonna
that
hide,
in
like,
our
1,000.
warehouse.
Yeah.
We get tiny babies.
This
and we
one
put babies all over our
This
warehouse.
one really had me intrigued.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
Elizabeth Tennyson, ACL Pro. She wants to know, ask him how he eats his crab dip. Side to side or one big scoop in the middle. This is a lot. This is very telling of an individual.
Yeah, well, it really depends on my mood because I'm also the same way with my Chipotle bowl, whether I wanted to go side by side or just mix it all up and eat it.
Okay.
But that was another backstory. We went to a cornhole tournament with Elizabeth, and she ordered crab dip, and I asked if I could have a bite, and she said yeah. So while she's gone, I take a chip just right down the middle
Really,
and
that's
eat
aggressive.
it. And she walked back and was so pissed off.
That's aggressive, though. I like it, though. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a statement.
I was
That's
like, sorry, it was really good.
Hey, listen. Hey, you don't have to apologize.
So,
man.
all
I get
right,
that.
if anyone out there is having crab dip with Elizabeth Tennyson, do not swipe the
Do
middle.
not.
So wait,
All
like
right.
if you're eating cereal, are you like a cereal? Like, do you just like go like right down the middle? Like you're just aggressive like that, or do you like
How
create
else
like
would
that
you do
little
it?
cove? Oh man, like you start by the
Whoa,
edge and
a
it just
cove?
slow.
What?
Oh yeah, you
Sean's
start by
a-
the
No.
edge. Oh come on,
Just mix it up. Just mix it up and just start eating it.
I'll show you a bowl. later.
Sean,
We'll go
Sean's
over
like, I
this.
will teach you my ways. This way you save some
That's funny.
crunchy bits on the top, so you have
Interesting.
Every bit is
crunchy
a
left
little-
at the end,
Oh yeah.
I already knew what you were
I'll have
thinking.
to, okay, all right.
Oh, Brian Scheinmeister wants to know, during the streaming, what platform chat is the best?
Facebook is always like
The most knowledgeable.
it's close to home, most knowledgeable. YouTube will have a lot of cornhole people in there as well, but it's just the comments are less scarce or more scarce compared to Facebook. And then there's TikTok. Man, TikTok is fun
It's my favorite.
because you'll get people who are like into it, like, oh man, this game is so good, and then you'll get people who are like, can you explain the scoring? What is like? Did the bag just went on the board? Oh my god, these guys are cornholing it so hard. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
like,
I
oh
love
my
it.
god,
TikTok is
It's
by
so
far the
funny.
most fun. It is. Like if you haven't checked it out, like you do need like a live stream, go check out the TikTok. It is worth it.
So if
Like,
you want your comment to be read, probably Facebook or YouTube. If you want to read comments, go to TikTok.
Yeah.
I do have to say
No,
that
'cause, like-
the TikTok view you guys have is my favorite. I
was
just
going
have
to say
to
the same
say
thing.
that's
I
my
love
favorite camera view. I do like watching that the best.
it. It is cool. It provides a different angle, but also like I don't know if you like pay attention to the viewer count. Like statistically, we get way more viewers in TikTok than we
Wild.
do on YouTube
Yeah.
or Facebook combined.
TikTok
Like, I
Live
think we
is
peaked.
crazy.
It's ridiculous. I think we peaked yesterday with like a little, like probably 4,600 in TikTok, and then we had maybe like 16, 17 in YouTube and 1,000 in Facebook. So we have for the past like 5 or 6 opens, Facebook has been the least viewed stream compared out of the three,
Yeah, it's
which is
weird.
surprising.
TikTok like live, like I guess I'm still, maybe I'm just too old, but like it is by far the most popular. Just as like an experiment, we went TikTok live for one of our episodes just to see what we had, like 3,000 something people watching at one point.
Yeah,
I'm like, what
it
the
was
fuck
nuts.
is going on? I have
Like,
we have like 1,800 followers on there. Like this makes no sense at all.
After after singles yesterday, after Alex won, Corey and I went live, stayed live on TikTok and played a couple games, and when we had 800 people just like while we hooked the wireless mics up to ourselves and we commentated while we played. It was a lot of fun, but man, we still had 800 people in there watching us play cornhole. I was like, this is nuts. You guys are awesome.
Craig has a good question. He's like, what's your goal? Do you want to commentate? Or are you hoping to be a professional player? Because if you're not familiar, like if you don't know Jake, you're also one hell of a player. You've made broadcasts before, correct? You've made a nice run at opens.
Let's not
you won an
pump him up
open?
that
Did you win
much.
an open?
I haven't won an open. No, I won my advanced singles bracket at
That's
the
what it
World
was. Okay,
Championships.
that's right.
And then I finished 1 point away at the pro qualifier this year too.
God damn.
But I've made TV spots in college.
Okay, so looking back at everything, let's say you get 2 more extra points, you're pro. Like, do you like where you ended up? Or would you like, is there deep down like shit, like I could be out there right now for like competing?
Yeah. No, I went into that whole day of the pro qualifier thinking of this as a win-win. Like, look, like I'm going to try my hardest. Like, I'm not going to like purposely lose, but I mean, worst case scenario, I don't get it. Like, I mean, I should be able to run back live streaming with them next year. And then for those who don't know how the pro qualifier work, you play 2 sessions. You have to go at least 4-0 or 3-1 to make the second session, and then in that second session you have to go 4-0 or 3-1 to move on. And I went 4-0 in that first session, and I was like, "Whoa, hold on a second! I think I actually have a legitimate chance." And then I lost a game in the second session, so I had to go to a single elimination bracket. I won my first one, had to play Ben Brown, and I mean, just like the aura, knowing because we were the very last match. Because like everybody else had finished and everybody came over to the live stream to watch. Just like the aura of watching that, of like standing there knowing that everybody's here to watch me was unmatched. It was really cool. And getting to play that, I love Ben. I really do wish I would have won. But looking back, man, it was right there, and it took a while to get over losing. But once I realized, look at the bigger picture. I'm happy where I am now. I really am. And if I had won that game, I probably would be a pro right now, and I probably would be, traveling to some of these opens and getting ready for the first national. But it's a big what if, because it never happened. But I'm really happy with where I am right now.
Or are you going to try to qualify again?
I don't know what I'm doing tomorrow morning, much less in August. No, but I mean, I think it really depends on where my game is. My game took a really bad regression the past few months just because I've been traveling and playing. I mean, traveling and broadcasting. I played open doubles with Wally in Myrtle Beach, and I was really upset with how I played. So much to the fact where I completely started from scratch the next week and have completely rechanged my throw to where I step now. I have a whole different, grip on the bag, and I'm starting to get back to where I was last year, and I'm starting to get confident again. So if I can continue that uprise and get good again, I may, but we'll see.
Speaking of Wally, he wants to know, is it true that you wouldn't be where you are today if it weren't for Wally?
I know he said that as a joke, but he's kind of right. He kind of did take me under my wing last year. He liked what I did. He's one of the bigger advocates for me from the start, talking to Trey and talking to all the people who behind the scenes who work with the live stream crew. So he's really wanted to get me to work with him for a while, and I'm really thankful that we got to where I am. So yeah, as much as I hate to admit it, Wally was a big result in where I am today. So I gotta give him some sort of shout out.
I can
will give
hear
him-
his ego inflate from here.
Well, we got to we'll inflate it a little bit more. We did play you guys when we saw you in Hamilton on the live stream. You guys won 2 out of 3. You guys won the series.
Sean, you know what though?
So-
They still lost one to us.
They did,
Which is,
He did.
you
Sorry.
guys,
Hey, it happens.
yeah,
You guys blew me out of the. I was surprised, like not in like a bad way, but you guys are, and like there's no way of saying that sounding like an asshole, but you guys were really good. I was impressed. I was very impressed with how you two threw.
And here's the thing: we say it all the time. Specifically me too. When I was playing a lot more, I was much better. I just don't get to play. I have glimpses, like I have games, like I have flashes, like I can still do it, but if the consistency is just not there, and that's why
there's
when I go to the
games where,
regionals around here and I play an open or advanced, like I'll give people games, but like if the games go long, I just don't have the consistency anymore. But like I can flash and stuff, and I wish if I had time to play more, I think I could go maybe like at least do something at the pro qualifier. You know what I mean? Like just make a little bit of some noise. But again, me playing once every 2 or 3 months is just not going to cut it. So, but I have fun.
Yeah.
I still love playing, and that's what I need to go out and play, even if it's just stupid stuff like that. Because when I go long stretches and I don't play, I forget how much I like it, and I'm like, fuck, I got to do this podcast, and like we got to keep doing. I can't keep watching all this stuff. But like when all it takes is one night, and even if I'm not in a blind draw, just throwing at open boards, I'm like, oh shit, I love this stuff.
yeah,
Like that's okay. Like it just gets me rejuvenated. I'm good for like 2 months.
it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun game.
It is. It's
I
fun. It's
know.
frustrating.
It is.
All the above. So one of our Patreon questions comes from ACL Pro. We'll call him El Presidente currently, Joshua Thielen. He said, of the ACL matches you've called, which are in your top 5 as most memorable and why?
Wow, that's
I
an
know.
awesome question. That's gonna take some time to think about. I mean, just showing some recency bias, that Tony Smith Jacob Trzynski match that I called yesterday morning was insane.
So I mean, we always fall victim to recency bias because it's hard to like think back that far, because I feel like every open you go to, you witness a couple miraculous matches without a doubt.
For sure. I will say one match that's sticking to my head, first open of the year this year, was an open doubles match between Angel Camarena and Colby Shearer versus Jack Gore and Sammy Soto. That was on the live feed. It was an incredible match. It wasn't that long of a match, but the shots that everybody hit, I think every single person in that game hit a bar of soap. And it was just incredible. Colby Shearer just blew me away with one that he hit. So I remember that one being really incredible, really memorable. I'm trying to think. I've been doing this for so long.
Well, I got one for Sean and I. We were doing TCL, and we had Justin Burton Jr. facing off against Sammy Soto, and Justin Burton Jr. rattled off 40 bags in a row to take it down. And just before he went on his tear, Sean literally stated, he's going to have to hit 40 bags in a row to come back and win this thing. And sure enough, he won it on his 40th bag.
That is pretty awesome.
It was a great performance.
I do remember this one match. I mean, ironically, it was the very first national I ever did, Las Vegas 2022. Jamie Graham, I forget who he was playing, but his opponent had 2 bags on the back lip of the hole, and Jamie still had 2 bags to go. And as soon as he did it, I was like, man, that'd be pretty cool if Jamie Graham hit an and 2 right here. And by God, if he didn't nail an and 2 on the 4th bag, I almost fell out of my chair. I was like, oh my God, I called it. This is the coolest thing ever.
Is there a better feeling? I mean, there's really, because typically you have commentator curse, but when something actually goes right, you're like, oh.
Yeah, it was insane. It was insane. Actually, the shot that went viral of the 3-bag push that Tony Smith hit yesterday, the bag before he threw, I said, if he hits this thing, I'm gonna throw up. And then he threw it, but he threw it short. And then Trzynski landed a bag on, and then he ended up hitting it. And I was like, oh my God. And then somebody in the comments was like, well, I guess Jake's going to start throwing up. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Because I forgot I said that. But
so maybe this is an unpopular opinion.
It is pretty cool.
So I said before, that shot's getting tons of hype. I don't think it's shot of the year. Like, I think it was a crazy good shot, but like, it wasn't like the coin slot. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't, I don't know. It just, I feel like it was a really good shot, and maybe more so because of like where it was at in the game. Like, he needed to hit that shot to stay alive.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like the only reason that, I feel like it's getting the hype that it is getting is because he literally needed to do exactly that just to stay in the game.
Yeah.
Because he threw it back short. I don't know. I would put it in probably at least the top 5 shots I've personally ever seen. Probably not number 1, but I probably couldn't think of what number 1 would be right this second. That 3-bag rodeo that Mark Richards hit on Jeremiah Ellis at Hamilton was freaking nuts.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, it was still a great shot. Don't get me wrong, but I think it was more like when it happened. You know what I mean? Like, if that was round 1 of the game, like, it was a crazy awesome shot. But I don't know if it's getting like all the hype as it is right now.
I mean, even yesterday, JBJ versus Alex Rawls. JBJ had a bag on the left lip of the hole. Didn't look like it was even hanging remotely. Alex, there were 4-bagger. JBJ has to drag it, and he nails it. And I was like, holy! I didn't think he had a chance. I had my finger on the music button to take it to commercial break because the game was over, and then he hit it. I was like, what? Holy crap! So I mean, it's more opinionated, obviously, but it's hard to tell. It's hard to just pick a finite shot.
It is,
because obviously, if I'm picking right now, because it just came to me that backside airmail that Philip Lopez hit on Jacob Trzynski on the ESPN broadcast last year, with where that was in the game, that's probably one of the greatest shots of all time.
We were literally sitting behind that board where he hit it. Like, it's just, it was still incredible.
Filthy.
Yeah, it was just
the airmail drag that doesn't take anything.
Yeah, correct.
I'm telling you,
the airmail drag. I love it. That's seriously such a good line. When you guys, what is it like when you're showering, right? When you get out, what is your routine afterwards? Like, do you grab your towel? Like, are you a dry off like outside of the shower? Or are you a dry off like in the shower? Like, where are you guys at with this?
I'm so glad you asked me this so I can finally like get it off my chest.
Okay, please.
I do the exact same thing every time.
Okay.
Turn the water off, grab the towel, hop right back in the shower because it's still got the steam. It's nice and warm in there. Dry off, hair, body, arms. Then I step out, and then I'll get the legs, and I'll get the back. Put the towel up, boom, deodorant, boom, brush teeth, boom, go.
Okay.
Done.
And then you set the towel on the rack, and it forgets everything that happened the next day.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's still clean.
Yep. Still clean.
What about
So
you?
yeah,
I'm saying normal size shower. I'm not talking about like a little, like where you're shoved inside where there's no room to dry off. Like, let's say there's ample room.
you saying I'm a big guy or something?
Yes.
All right.
But, okay.
But no, as
Hey,
usually,
I'm right there with you.
I'm
with you,
pretty
Dane.
similar to him.
Yeah.
Reach out, except I do take cold showers, so like there's no steam.
I know.
But I
know.
I will dry off, and then it's always step out onto the mat, dry the legs, because I don't want to go like one leg up in the shower and risk slipping. I have knocked myself out cold slipping in a shower before, so I don't want to do that again. So I'm very cautious on that. On the dismount.
So my question is, what is the point of a cold shower? It doesn't feel good. Nothing beats a nice hot shower after a long day. What's the point of a cold shower?
Honestly, it perks you right up. I'm a morning person anyways, so like it's just another little added jolt.
Okay.
I think it's helped me deal with anxiety and kind of helped me like control breathing and handle stressful situations all the way down that line. I've been doing it for quite some time, so
I really like that answer. That makes me want to go try a cold shower.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Wow.
I'm gonna try it tomorrow. I'll try it tomorrow.
I may very much like when I'm in the shower, like I dry off almost like completely and then I get out.
yeah, because then you're like, ooh, it's chilly.
No, it's like, but one of my biggest pet peeves, and like, I don't know if you've like ever lived with other people, like, but like when I used to go like on road trips, like with rugby guys, and like I'd go in to take a shower like after they were done, and the floor would be fucking wet. I'm like, what kind of savages
You were talking about my wife right now.
staying with?
And
Like, what the fuck are you doing?
infuriates
Like, the
me.
bath mat is there as like a, hey, so you don't step on like the cold floor right when you get out of the shower. Not to be like, hey, I'm gonna get this bitch drenched and then go on about my day. Am I sitting solo on this?
No. My wife does this.
No,
I swear
hate
she
it.
like flings open the shower and like carries a cup of water in her
And just
hands.
dumps
Yeah,
it?
then
Yeah,
just
that's what I'm
throws it
saying.
on
What
the
the
floor.
fuck?
And then it's even worse. Like I have to shower before her because she gets out of the shower, drips all in the shower, and then like proceeds to walk into the living room mirror with like the towel wrapped around her and starts brushing her hair. And then that flicks water. I'm like, I'm always like, why can't you just do that in the already soaking wet shower? Like, just brush your hair in there, like, so it doesn't get everywhere. And she's like, it's not that much.
I shower first because if I go in afterwards and my wife, when she's shedding, she sticks it to the fucking side of the shower.
Ugh.
If I go in there and I see that first, I'm like, just get it in the fucking hole. My God, get it out. And she's like, you are like such a child. I'm like, about that? Yeah. She's like, it's my hair. I'm like, but it's not attached to your head and it's gross.
I don't know where it came from.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but I was thinking about that driving into work today. I'm like, am I weird about like the floor? Like, I don't want the floor to be fucking wet when I get out of the shower.
I'm there with you, man.
It's like an
hazard.
OCD kind of thing. You need it to be perfect.
Like
it can't be dry. It can be wet.
My
It has to be
day
dry.
is ruined. Like there's been a time like where I'll get in the shower, didn't pay attention to the towel situation, and my wife like washed the towel because I'm like I don't need once a week. Like I'm good with the same towel, whatever. And she'll like have taken off and be an adult and wash it, and then I forget to grab a new one, and there's nothing there. And I'm standing in the shower. I'm like, my whole day's ruined. If I have to get out of the shower and I'm wet, the floor, the carpet's wet because then my socks are gonna get wet when I walk out. Oh, it's just the whole day's ruined. So
You put your socks on, or what are you doing?
like, afterwards, like after I'm already dressed. So shut up, Dane.
Put your socks in the shower, you fucking weirdo.
Okay, so I thought this would be an appropriate group before we get into some of your fun questions here. We're going to do a tier, all right? Dana, you're going to start us off like you always do, all right? You're at a restaurant, and you get to order an appetizer.
Okay.
Give me your appetizer rankings.
All right. Honorable mention is just going to be like guac or queso.
Okay.
It's always a staple at the Mexican restaurant. Yeah, definitely going guac or queso. Number 3, if there's any sort of pork belly or bacon type, there's a lot of places around here that do like clothesline bacon and like skewered bacon.
Okay.
It's always delightful. I will go that route and just start off my meal hearty. Let's see. Number 2. I mean, I already know what my number 1 is, so it's tough. Number 2, I'm gonna go. Let's just give me like any kind of like fun tot concoction, like tater tots or like French fries, like
I'll include loaded fries and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
like even like poutine or something like that. Like any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
Number 1. A1 calamari.
I was gonna say
Calamari, baby.
I'm gonna copy you. On that.
Give me some squid. I
love. I already have this written
calamari.
down in a circle because
And even bad calamari still slaps.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like Amy will be like, it's rubbery. I'm like, fine, give me your pieces. I'll chew on that bitch. Like, let's go.
You opened up another door because I didn't even think about seafood appetizers, and now I have a new number 1. It's funny. All right. Am I next?
Go for it.
All right. Number 3. Oh man, number 3. I'm gonna start with a classic because like no matter where you go, they're probably gonna have them. Give me a nice solid mozzarella stick.
You can't go
at number 3.
I agree.
Love
now,
it.
do you have a preferred shape? Like, does it matter to
Just
you?
a stick.
Do you
Just
like a stick?
Actually, I was hanging out with some friends because they were playing cornhole at a local blind draw, and they got like half moon mozzarella sticks, and I was like, that's just. I don't like it. It's not for me.
It's gotta be cooked right. If you're gonna go like the wedge or like half moon, it's gotta be like cooked and have the pool.
Yes.
I like a little crunch on the outside. You know what I mean? I want the texture change a little bit.
Yeah.
But I agree. It's the mozzarella stuff very safe. I like it.
For sure. All right, number 2, I'm a big carb guy. So I have to go with soft pretzel sticks or soft pretzel bites. Love them.
Beautiful.
We could go to dinner.
Absolutely love them. Can't go wrong. Now I will say I hate like liquid cheese, like a beer cheese. I think it's absolutely disgusting.
Wow.
Can't do it.
Have you tried it?
Yes.
Can't tried a good
like
one.
the movie theater nacho cheese you get with chips, I think is the worst thing God has ever created
first of
on
all,
this planet.
Don't you dare lump beer cheese and nacho cheese in the same category.
No,
they are two
I don't want to. I'm not trying
family.
Yes.
I'm not trying to lump them in the same category, but I will say I hate both of them.
Well, what's your
equally.
go-to? Are you like a honey mustard guy or?
Give me straight up yellow mustard. I
okay.
love yellow mustard.
Fair enough.
Have to.
Okay, I respect that.
And then number one, you know, it would be criminal as a boy from Maryland. I didn't include something seafood. Give me crab dip all day long.
Yep.
Especially from where I am. I've never really had a bad crab. I've had bad crab dip outside of Maryland, but you know, crab dip is an A1 staple. Any restaurant.
Do they make it
in the
with a
Baltimore,
soft shell
Maryland
crab
area.
out there?
What's that?
Is that made with the soft shell crab out there?
No, just straight Maryland blue crab.
Maryland blue crab.
So
Delicious.
so you would prefer? So do you consider a crab cake an entree, or do you can still consider that a
Crab cake is crab cake's an entree
Okay,
from
all right, fair
from this area 100%.
Okay, I respect that. My honorable mention, we're just gonna go with the all American like sampler, right? You get something
Yeah,
for the
little bit of
table, you got a
everything.
little bit of everything. You don't know what you're feeling. Sampler, you can't go wrong, right? Covers a lot of everything.
Give little spirit fingers. Over it.
My 3 was actually one of I had one and I crossed it out and I went the other one. I'm gonna go with pretzel. I agree, but give me the beer cheese.
Yeah.
Give me a little honey mustard. I want a little bit of everything.
I mean, do you guys venture in like the stone ground
Oh yeah, that's
realm
what
or
I'm saying.
anything?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah.
love like a hot mustard with
Yep.
a pretzel. Like
That's what I'm
so-
saying.
That's getting a little better. I would do that.
My number 2. All right, this might be a little local thing. Might just want to be one of my favorites. Specifically, PJ McIntyre's the Irish egg rolls.
Oh, dude.
Like just
money.
unbelievable. Basically,
Irish egg roll.
it's an egg roll, but it's a Reuben inside with a little Thousand Island.
Thousand Island on the side,
It's as
dude.
good as
It
and they're deep
is
fried, and it's
phenomenal.
amazing and not good for you, and I love it.
Oh,
Number 1 was going to be
Sounds
calamari, but the rule is I can never repeat something he says. So my number 1, this is going to be a kind of a local, more from our Boston roots, Cape Cod thing, stuffed quahogs. It's
Yeah.
basically a stuffed clam, but quahogs are like the bigger clams. And it's just like something like near and dear to our hearts because like our grandmother used to make them and like we wouldn't let her come on vacation unless she was going to make them kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Like you just chop the clams up and throw them in some.
we told her,
stuffing
okay, if you
and
want to
stuff,
stay out of the
it's
home,
delightful.
keep making these.
Yeah,
like you're
there you
good.
go.
okay. All right. I got to never. I'll be honest, never heard of it, but from what you said, it sounds really good.
It's basically like stuffing with clams inside.
What do they,
Yeah.
what do they
Yeah.
call that? Clams? Like, there's a name for it.
I don't know.
It's like made
I'm
in
not sure.
the. Oh man, it's gonna pop into my head randomly, but
You got a card for
as
us?
soon
I do
as,
have a-
we leave, yeah.
yeah, exactly. All right, so
It's always interesting.
fun question here.
We'll keep it PG since he's just
Yeah,
signed
yeah,
a contract.
I got
and
you.
stuff,
If you were born with action figure hands,
so.
what position would your hands be in?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay.
I can never move them ever again,
Yep,
kind of thing,
They're
or
stuck, man. You got action figure hands. You could do like the fist.
I'm trying to think, do I want one fist or do I not? Like, I feel like if they're going to be molded, like, I want something sort of like a slightly curved, like where I could possibly still grip something.
Yeah.
yeah.
See,
that's what
like
I'm
I
thinking.
was
I'm thinking,
actually first thing that came to mind was Lego claws.
Okay.
Because like they make so many things that fit into those, and yeah, you might have to like readjust your life, but you could eventually find things that fit your Lego claws perfectly
Works. We're
and
good.
function.
Yeah, I went the route of, how could I play cornhole? So I was like one hand like this, just so I can hold a drink, and the one hand I guess kind of like this, kind of like
Yeah, I
the
was
grip
gonna
of
say,
my
like,
cornhole bag. Yeah, this is what I could throw. I mean, I guess it would kind of hinder me when I'm not playing cornhole,
Walk
but
around like this.
no, it is what it is.
This is how I grip my bag. So like I had to walk around with my finger up front,
See, I
like-
still think you could do it with Lego claws. Like
You could. Well, that's how I used
you
to
just
throw.
have to. Yeah,
when
you
I
just
first
have to
started, I
learn.
used to have just a straight pinch, and yeah, that's
Yep.
all.
But there's no pinch anymore.
Straight ninja
Can't
star.
pinch. Yeah, I was also thinking
That's a
like
good
you
one.
remember like the ones that like they had the fist but the hole was in it, so you could still like
Oh, yeah.
put the gun like
Yeah,
they
for
hold
sure.
the stuff. Like I was thinking for that for golf. So if I have the fist
Oh,
and then
that's
you could
such a
just
good
slide
point.
the club in, then you'd be
Yes.
all set.
Jake, are you a golfer too?
That's a touchy subject. I've tried to get into golf the past like few months, but man, I'm so ungodly bad at it.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean,
So
he's got,
bad. But I would like to, yeah.
I think it's.
like, I'll golf.
Is it the hardest sport? I think it's the
Yeah,
hardest.
I
sport.
think it's the
think
hardest
so.
sport.
I really do. Like, I think it's the hardest
And-
sport.
yeah.
Hardest sport to
Yeah.
master.
Correct. I do.
Yeah.
You got another one?
Yep. All right, this is actually a funny one because we're all big boys. All right,
all right.
I like this one.
Loosening up here.
If your life depended on it, what gymnastics event would you bet your life that you could do?
Men's or women's?
Let's just go across the board.
Anything?
Anything.
Okay. God damn, man. There's not many.
You give me enough practice, I could be damn good at a long jump. Is that wait? That's a gymnastics. That's
That's
an
not
Olympic
gymnastics.
thing.
Yeah, that's track and field.
I want to say
Oh,
like
shoot.
I'm not. I mean, the boards are kind of springy. Give me the floor. I'm just gonna drop it like it's hot.
Just
like,
going floor, yeah,
fuck, yeah. I'm
just-
going. Yeah, just full out. Yeah.
Now you guys are also forgetting there's like rhythmic gymnastics too. You don't have to go like the full on power like flipping. You could,
I think like
you
a
could be a
rhythmic
ribbon.
floor
You could
gymnastic.
be like
yeah,
a
for
ribbon
sure.
dancer. I kind of
Yeah,
figured you'd
yeah.
be that one.
Yeah, because I'm thinking like rings. No. Pole vault or like the balance beam. Definitely not. Pommel horse. I'm not. No. Like.
I think I would go trampoline.
But that's not gymnastics.
It is. That's a gymnastics event.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I could handle that.
Blow out a knee or something. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
why not?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's maybe the wrong answer, but I feel like I have a pretty decent balance. I feel like I could do pretty well at the balance beam if you give me enough time to practice.
just jump to one.
I don't know.
Like
It's-
this wave.
I'm either gonna ace
you
it or
don't
I'm
seem to have to
breaking
do
my
well,
neck.
right?
That's
Like,
what I'm
just-
saying. Like, you don't have to do it well. Maybe I just do like parallel
Yeah.
bars and just like hike
Just like-
myself up on them. Just like
do one dip and like you're straining the whole time.
shake
Let me do a
Small,
jump, a little
old
puree.
School where he's got the cigarette in his mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
I did it. I did it. For sure. What's your next one?
Next one up.
Let's do last one.
Yeah, all right.
No pressure.
What TV show could you take a college course on and get an A?
Oh, this is easy for me. Which one?
Rattle
Yeah,
them off.
that one's a hard one for me too. Just picking which one.
The Office for sure would be number one. If you want to blast from the past, ER.
Yeah, ER would be a good one. I would definitely take Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I would take Bob's Burgers.
I feel pretty confident in Parks and Rec.
Yeah, Parks and Recs I would be pretty good at too.
Okay, well, I was gonna say The Office, and then I was gonna say Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yep.
So
Ooh,
I'm gonna
we could be
go.
friends.
I'm gonna go Suits.
Oh,
Okay.
there's another good. Yes, yes. My wife is actually
But,
watching
like-
that again.
Like Community would be up there too.
I mean, I could go. I mean, I'm a total
England.
nerd. I mean, I could do a lot of like sci-fi stuff, like Firefly. There's only one season, but yeah, I could definitely do that.
Could do. I think I could do Shameless pretty well. Shameless is a good show.
Ooh.
Shameless was a good show. I would be decent at Star Trek.
Dude, give me a college course in Sports Center.
Oh yeah,
Like,
Oh, without
actually,
a doubt.
that was a
Fuck,
question
without a
that
doubt.
popped in my brain. So like, we all kind of grew up with the anchors.
yeah.
Who's your all-time favorite like ESPN anchor on SportsCenter?
I'm not going to take the easy way out and say Stuart Scott, even though, like, I feel
So
like
he's like the goat of goats.
So I'm not going
when
to
it
say
came
him.
to it, yeah.
I've. Okay, give me a second. Let me think about this.
Mine would be Rich Eisen. I was always a big fan. Like
Yeah.
he like gave you all the facts straight up, and he was just like, I don't know. There's always a bit of a levity to him. I don't know. I always liked his stuff.
I know it's different now because he has like his own segment and thing, but if we're going like old school when like we all love Sports Center. They're sitting behind the desk.
SVP.
Yeah, Scott Van Pelt, man, was right up there. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
he
and
was number two for me.
There's, I mean, there's so many good ones. Like Steve Levy, I thought was really good too.
Who's
I
the dude
liked-
with the Kenny? He does the golf stuff
Yes,
now.
no, I know who you're talking about. I'll think of it. in a
Yeah,
second.
he was another one that I think would have.
Yes.
Yeah,
would've
SVP
done.
was definitely my number one. I liked Stan Barrett and
Yes, that's a good one.
what was his? He did it with Neil something.
Yes.
The two duo the late night ESPN late night Sports Center for years.
You know what?
Yeah,
I'll give a nod to Linda Cohn too.
Yeah, she was solid.
'Cause she
Yeah,
was
that's
always
very true.
solid, too.
Very, very true. Yeah. No, very true. Yeah, there are so many good ones, man. I feel very fortunate growing because, like, if you're young now, like, Sports Center's just not the same, man.
Yeah.
It's just not. I don't know.
And like I got to witness the very end of Stuart Scott's career, but man, like hanging out with like kids now who don't even know who he is.
Yeah,
Man, I feel for them.
Yeah, that
He
was like
was
a
a
legit.
legend.
Like, I remember sitting at my house in Westlake, actually upset that he passed away. I remember telling
Yeah.
my wife, and my wife's like, "Who?" And I'm like, "Don't you dare! Not today!
Yes.
Not today!"
Yeah.
God.
It finally,
It was tough.
I had to look up that thing for
Okay,
the
yeah.
clams that was bothering me. What I was thinking of was Oysters Rockefeller.
Okay.
This is like the
Oh,
clam.
yeah.
This is like the
It's a
clam,
clam
version
version.
of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. That
Very
makes
good
sense.
stuff. Always up there.
I'm so happy that I got that out on.
Well,
on
I think
air.
it's official. I think we could all be friends.
No, for certain. I think we have to have a meal together next time.
Oh.
I think we all kind of touch the notes. Only appetizers though.
For sure.
All right.
No, yeah.
I think we'd be
You guys gonna order entrees? No, we're gonna
No,
we're gonna get
we're gonna
9
apps, baby.
appetizers.
all right.
Is it half off right now?
Now the tuxedo scene fucked
You're
up.
gonna regret that decision.
Correct. Jake, man, thank you very much for joining us, man. This has been fun.
Man, dude, I had a blast. I appreciate you guys for letting me come on, talk. This is fun. Perfect timing too.
I like
Absolutely.
seeing when the ACL hires good young like talent. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you fit that bill very much. I enjoy listening to you. And I've been like very critical on commentary before, I thought it was lacking on stuff. And this is not a shot at Wally. This is pre-Wally and everything. But I think that they're seriously moving in the right direction. You guys have done a really nice job, like legitimizing, like, and setting kind of like a gold standard for like the stream stuff now. You know what I mean? Like, it's high level stuff, and it's what we needed to. It's just as important as like adjusting rules and promotion and all that stuff. Setting this stuff up so the masses can see is just as important.
For sure. Yeah.
For sure. Cornhole can only go so far by itself. You need a grade A stream and somebody who not only knows what they're talking about, but can get energized with what's going on. A grown man throwing a 1 pound beanbag 27 feet in the air. But yeah, like, I'm super thankful. Like I've said before, that like the streams have gotten a lot better the past, calendar year, and they're only going to do nothing but improve the next calendar year as well.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Well, anytime you want to hop on, man, we'll have you on again.
I appreciate it.
We'll have you on for like maybe like a national precap. We'll give Trey a break or something.
Well, maybe we get him and Trey on, and then we can just let him go.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. We'll just record it.
Bathroom break.
I like it.
Back, kind of thing. But yeah. So thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely, man.
Check them out. Check out the ACL podcast. Tune into the next open. I can't remember exactly when it is or where it is, but
Triadelphia, West Virginia, in a couple of weeks, March.
I know, man. We were gonna try to go, but we'd have to make it like.
I was about to say it's right around you guys.
It's like 4 hours away.
I'm heading to a tournament in Texas the following weekend, and then
it
we
would
have
have to be a
Brighton,
down,
Michigan, the following up weekend, which is much closer. So I don't know. We'll figure something out.
So yeah, we're just kind of looking at it. It sounds like we're either probably gonna go to Colorado, maybe, or the
Minnesota.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that's all public knowledge yet, but the third one or the third one.
I can redact that.
So we don't need to. It's about time they release. No, it's we looked on the website. It was. It's
that's true. It is.
Yeah, it's on the ACL website schedule. People just haven't looked at it, but it is up there.
That's true.
Yeah, most events are at, except for just a couple.
Yeah, correct. But yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll have you on again sometime soon. But yeah, so we'll guess we'll be back next week. Who knows what we'll talk about? Best of the bags. Keep voting. By next week, we should be into like the second round, going into like the quarterfinals and stuff. So always entertaining to see where it comes out on top. You have any early feelers? Like I'm interested to see the hybrid. That could throw everything off.
Hybrid, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people.
Lucky Bags is continuous.
Woodwork bags are coming out.
Listen, every time I think that they don't do anything, Lucky Bags shows up and they had like 900 votes in the first round. I mean, you don't mess with the king.
People don't forget. I mean, they
do. Who won last year?
Lucky Bags.
Pro Sniper
won. Yeah, and they had Mark Richards do a shout out for it. I'm like, oh, well, they're taking it seriously.
It is,
so we'll see. But yeah, thanks for joining us. We'll be back next week. And as always,
absolutely, man.
We hope you throw it straight. As nothing but 4 baggers from here on out.
Cornhole.
Later.